ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 471st episode of the GeekVerse podcast. I'm the Clown Prince of Podcast, Tress Snell, and I'm joined by...
Okay, me, the GV mother, Jessica. I guess, yeah, I'm supposed to be Kirklin, so I go before Taylor, right? That's how it goes.
There you go. I'm the Twitter dinos, Taylor Field.
I have no idea. They have this whole setup of there's some when we're together I go and then they go. I don't understand how any of that works. I just introduce the people. But yeah, we're here for 471. Yeah, I'm not sure. My goal is I gotta try and time it out. My goal is for the 2-year anniversary to try and cheese it and make it the 500th episode. So we'll see if we can do that. But that's the plan right now. Yeah, we got lots of stuff. Taylor, you got the Twitter dinos thing. I have to ask you. So I have a Twitter timeline where I see countless fights about Star Wars, Marvel, and DC all the time. Now, I have to admit, you sent me this thing. I did not have time to fully read what you got into, but were you getting into a Twitter argument with someone about dinosaurs?
I diffused the situation. S-Bubs, shout out to S-Bubs, he tagged me in this thing, something about dinosaurs coming back or whatever like that. There's always something about an article about dinosaurs coming back, and he asked me what something I thought. About them. There always is. He asked me what my opinion was on it, and I was like, oh, dinosaurs probably shouldn't come back. You know, we've seen movies that prove why we probably shouldn't do it. And then this guy, this is days later, comes out of left field and it's like, oh, those movies are not a proper representation of what would really happen. You know, chances are you wouldn't really see them and stuff. And so I
was
mocked
taking
him.
the bring dinosaur sides back?
No, he was against it.
Okay, but weren't you against it too?
I was, and I was just kind of poking fun at him. So I'm gonna read. I'm gonna read the comment because it's actually really
people.
fun. So the initial thing was a vast majority of Americans don't want the T-Rex to walk the earth again.
Yep.
And so S-Bub is like, thoughts? And I'm like, as much as I would love to see a real live dino, it would be significantly bad for humanity. We've seen multiple movies why it's a bad idea, but I would cry happy tears to see one though. And then this guy again, out of the blue. Those films do not accurately depict what would happen. Dinosaurs are animals, not movie monsters. It's likely that when properly cared for, dinosaurs will just kind of vibe. Hell, they already do as birds. So I said, spoken like a true John Hammond, is my comment to him. But then I thought, okay, this is going to kind of stoke the fire, so I got to diffuse it. But you are correct. Those films are largely exaggerated for entertainment purposes, yada, yada. Then he's like, if non-avian dinosaurs were brought back from extinction and let out into the wild, it's unlikely you'd ever see one of the large ones. And so I was like, okay, let's really calm this guy down. I said, oh, probably even less likely when it comes to the marine ones, I reckon. He's like, yeah, the oceans are massive. Even if we do know enough to know that there aren't any animals like Megalodon or Mosasaurus still swimming around, if we put one in there and didn't look for 5 minutes, it'd just be gone. Gone is in all caps, too. This guy was really getting into it. And S-Bubs is liking these comments, too, as we're going through.
Oh,
so
yeah.
he's just observing.
S-Bubs is always a shit disturber. I don't know if he's in the chat tonight, but he's always a shit disturber. Yeah. Oh, man. Well, did you at least get him to listen to Cryptid Clues?
No, I thought I better save that can of worms. I didn't want to spring too much on him.
That's fair. Jessica, have you been getting any fights about dinosaurs this week in your life?
I have not. But I would take your side with that, Taylor. I don't think that we should bring them back. So at least you have that.
I don't think it. I don't know who actually has this side. I want to talk to those people that thought yes, we should bring them back. They just want chaos. They just want. And then Family Clay says, laugh my ass off. How is it that Taylor found one the person to actually have a dinosaur conversation with? That's why I just laugh, because I see so much. I was going to tweet this, Wired or Tired people arguing about DC Marvel. Wired, Taylor arguing with people about dinosaurs. But you diffused it. That's good. Maybe he'll listen to our Jurassic Park review, but I don't...
even if they do come back, no one's going to be able to take a good picture of them. Look at Loch Ness and Bigfoot and everything
It's
like
true.
that.
Unless
Near
it's
impossible.
I feel like T-Rex you could get a good picture of. That's going to be massive, right? How tall?
That phone will be buried in shit. There's no way someone's taking a good picture and getting out alive.
Remember Jurassic Park 3, that phone just in that Spinosaurus poop?
I do remember. How, Taylor, how average tall, what was the average height of a T-Rex? Do you know?
I could tell you.
Well,
I don't know off the top of my head. I'm not
carrying
that.
You know Alan Grant.
Up to 40 feet in length and 12 feet in height.
Okay, if it was 40 feet, we'd definitely see it. But I feel like I don't know, we would nuke them pretty fast, I feel.
How long is Loch Ness Monster supposed to be?
That's a good
Ooh.
question. But he is in the water, right? So he can hide pretty good.
He'd be
Let's see.
gone, all caps.
He'd be gone.
So I don't have an actual estimate, like,
Well,
on
because
what the
Loch Ness isn't real,
Monster
so it's
is.
kind of the tough thing, right?
But its closest association would probably be a plesiosaur, I'd say, which is 3.5 meters. How much is that in feet?
3.5 meters?
So
That's not
11
that
and a
big.
half feet long.
Oh, that's not that big. Like
Yeah,
Shaq's
it's only
almost
a-
that big.
If that's coming at you in the water, that's pretty freaking terrifying.
Yeah, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying like you got nothing on the T-Rex. The T-Rex gonna make a shish kebab out of it, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but well, there you go. There's your dino talk. I'm sure Taylor will be excited soon. Today we're starting the Jurassic Park retros, so that'll
May
be fun.
10th, I saw was our recording.
I think so.
That's probably not public knowledge, though.
He's had the people will get it when they get it. You know, that's why you head over to Patreon, because anytime we record something, you get it right away. And yeah, lots of good stuff. We just recorded the latest After 9, the big one coming up May 28th, 6 p.m. PST, the roast of Taylor Field. Fanboy Clay's in the chat. That's going to be a good one. So you can, even if you're not roasting, you can join the Phase 2 tier or higher and join just to be in the audience. It's going to be a good time. Jessica, so who's going to be the worst roaster and why is it Carl? Because you got Carl, you got Fanboy Clay, you have Maddie out of all people, and then who was there one more, Taylor?
I think there's
Who am
just
I
a
forgetting?
3.
There's just a 3. People keep dropping out.
There's
They're
you
scared.
with you. You'll have a couple jabs
I'll have a
too, because
couple.
you're master
I'll
of
have a couple.
ceremonies. But,
But
yeah,
Yeah.
Maddie, Carl, and Clay.
Maddie, I'm most looking forward to because he's just so nice. I don't know what he can have in the barrel. You know, he's just a calm, nice little French Canadian. You know,
So when you say worst, do you mean
like
meanest
who's
slash
Stinger?
best
Yeah,
jokes?
yeah, not bomb. Fanboy Clay is gonna bomb. What do you mean? Oh shit! I need to start writing my own material. You think we're gonna provide you with that? This isn't our full time job. It's a small business, but it's not our full. We don't got script. Actually, that's what we do. That whole little dino talk, we have people writing that for us. That's what Carl does. He just writes our scripts for our takes and everything like that. Marvel
Well, that's
sends
why
us
he's
stuff.
going to have the best jokes. He's going to write everyone else the shitty ones.
Yeah, exactly. Or he's gonna, yeah, and Clay's
He'll just
gonna
play like a laugh track like over his microphone as he says his one-liners. But I hope not.
That'd be perfect.
But yeah, so that's. Oh, go. You didn't answer the question. I feel like all eyes are on Carl. You know.
Yeah, I would guess Carl. And is there
They-
alcohol involved? Because that might affect some things.
they can
Sure,
drink if they
people
want.
pop open, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like obviously there's levels like Cocktail Clay. You never want to get to his level. He got pretty hammered once. But
I'm definitely gonna engage in some alcoholic beverages.
well,
These
there you go.
slurs at me, I need to brush them off.
The what?
These slurs coming at me, I gotta brush them off.
I don't think anyone's gonna be slurring at you. You're also just a white straight male. I don't think there's a single slur that goes towards.
I'm not
us.
fully white. Remember, I have
Oh, right. Oh, they're gonna go after your 6.5 Asian descent. Yeah, but that'll be on Patreon. The other thing, exclusive, ad-free early episodes. You can get the After Nines up there. There'll be other exclusive episodes starting in May. We'll talk about a bit more about that. There's gonna be some polls for patrons to vote on, and you can send in questions, all that jazz. And then Taylor, where can they find all that stuff?
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find us with your internet connection in the search bar. GeekVerse.ca is our home base. GeekVerseCast is our Twitter, and GeekVerse on our
here it
Facebook.
comes. Well, you can stop it because that's it. I went first. Yeah, like you should have hit that earlier when I was starting. I did a reverse. I threw you off, but yeah.
I
this
just
is
want
a-
to shout
yeah.
out to Taylor that you've held consistent with that internet connection and in the search bar for this entire time.
It's my groove.
It's been a
you
long
know?
time. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was like the first 5 episodes, but it came in pretty early at some point. I'd have to Bubs when you listen to this. You got to go find the very first. No, all the episodes are on YouTube. But yeah, at some point you said it in the search bar. And
Oh, go ahead.
No, I can't remember. I thought you said something wrong before though about the search bar or something like that. I think how it started is you were just describing of how to find us, and
I would go into an in-depth analysis. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have to catch myself though, because even when I introduce like start cryptid clues, I'll be like, yeah, you can check out cryptid clues. You know, our home base cryptid clues. Like, no, I can't do that. That's Geekverse exclusive. I can't say search bar and cryptid clues. I gotta keep those all trademarked for Geekverse. So.
yeah. So like when we let you go and fire you, that's ours. You can't take that with you wherever you go.
Yeah, there you go.
We own that. It's a trademarked property. You know?
Yeah.
Have you ever made that a shirt in a search bar?
Remember that really, really shitty shirt that I got a long time ago? It was black with green writing, and it was like, "We'll see you in the search bar. Welcome to GeekVerse." It had like the SoundCloud links on the back and iTunes. Fuck, I got it upstairs still.
Bold play.
That's an old token.
Bold play. Yeah, you need to teach Joe and Travis how to transition into GUA plugs. Heinz is getting better. And I feel like, Joe has his days, but some of them are they're still new. I don't know. Actually, I don't know because of other side podcasts. But we've been doing this now for 7 years, coming in August, so it takes a while. There's many times I still forget stuff. Clay, I might forget your question later, but you know what I'm not gonna forget is the fucking Batman, because the Batman. It's funny. We asked Jessica about this last week. Like, oh, if they announced a sequel, would you like it? And here we are. So we got a lot of stuff to break down today. We had a Harry Potter's ranking. That's booed to next week because we had the Sony panel, the Warner Brothers panel. We got some trailers. I'm so jealous right now at Cinemacon. They're actually screening the Black Phone right now, so I'm pretty pissed about that. Well, that's what I want to get to. Actually, I wouldn't be traveling the States, but I want to get to Cinemacon one day. But lots of news going on, lots of things. So now, there's not too much to break down here, but Warner Brothers and if people are wondering, I'm not going to go panel by panel or stuff like that. I'm just going to kind of go a bunch of news all over the place and everything like that, so you'll be able to follow along. But they started off the panel. There's announcements, people talking. We love the movie theaters. If people don't know, CinemaCon is for like the heads of the studios and whatnot. They present to theater owners and tell you like what's coming, so like why you should still be so people bid on movies and stuff like that. So it's all about more that stuff. Obviously, that's why none of these clips or anything have come out and stuff like that. But the big thing that led off at least Warner Brothers is Matt Reeves came out. He talked about he was so happy about the theaters. If you look at the Batman, it's the third biggest movie since the pandemic started. It goes Spider-Man, Way Home, Bond, and then this. And Batman could pass Bond. It's pretty close. But so obviously that's a big win for Warner Brothers. And then they announced today that Matt Reeves is coming back to direct. Robert Pattinson's come back to star, which I don't know why that would have to be. I don't know. But there was all these rumors that they would never tell you. Remember that because Jessica, you weren't around for this, but remember the rumors of Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson hate each other and they'll never work together ever again? Yeah, that's all BS. It's just people trying to tank the franchise. But he says he's already started to work on it. So what I was wondering was the fact that when Nolan, you had him always, he would do like Batman Begins, and then he did Prestige, and then he did Dark Knight, then he did Inception. He would always kind of do one on, one off, but it seems like Matt Reeves just jumping into it. There's no date, no title, anything like that. Taylor, I have to start with you because you're somebody like, I thought this movie was announced, or I thought it was confirmed, but I have to bring it to your attention. Like look at Rogue Squadron. Just because it says it's something that's going to happen doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. It has to be, because if Batman came out on Bombed, yeah, sure, Matt Reeves wants to do a trilogy, but this is he was hoping it was going to happen. This is the confirmation. Hey, it's happening. It's going to be made.
What is your comparison with Rogue Squadron? Because they put out a poster and said it's going to be made.
Yeah, but then months later they said, it's not on the schedule anymore.
They could do that with this, though.
They could, but but the thing is, like, this has a track record of a nearly $750 million movie. It has a lot more going for it than Rogue Squadron, is what I'm saying, But you're right. Until they shoot a scene, it's not done,
Yeah. No, I legit thought months ago, like, oh yeah, we're getting Batman 2, Batman 3, and I didn't hear anything about them like idling on it. I thought it was green lit and they were going for it. So I mean, this is kind of, I don't know. It's like I was told I was going to get cookies for dessert. And then like I eat the dinner and then my mom's like, hey, you're going to get cookies for dessert. Confirmed.
Well, good thing she wasn't a bitch and changed her mind, right? Like what?
Yeah, you never know.
But here I'll ask you, are you happy? Like, are you surprised that it's going to be seemingly Matt Reeves' project? Like, we could probably get this in the next 2 to 3 years. Like, it's not going to be like Nolan where he did one movie. Taylor looks so confused. What are you confused about right now, Taylor?
Wait, you're asking like if I'm happy that it's with Matt Reeves?
No. So it's seemingly that's his next project. So we're seemingly getting the Batman probably sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fucking great.
Oh my god,
I'm sold.
You're on
it.
a different wavelength.
No, I like.
No.
Is it a problem that he's not doing anything else in between?
You know what? He's gone for tonight. So No, so Jessica, I have to ask you. So also we talked about this, we talked about this last week with the Batman. So one, I want to ask, like you kind of already talked about it, so you're not no spoiler. But what I want to ask you is something that you're not the biggest Batman fan, but what do you want to see? Because this is confirmed. Like we said, Pattinson's back, director's back. He's writing it. Like everyone that worked on the first one is coming back for this one, so that's all good and jazz. No date, no official name, and I got a question about the name because this was a debate in our Discord. But what do you want to, after you've seen this one, what do you want to see? Like, do you want to see what they did with the Riddler, where it's like taking an old character that has been done before and giving him a new updated look and stuff? Do you want to see the new villains and characters that we haven't seen in Batman films? Like, what are you looking for when they start working on the Batman 2, etc.?
Ooh. So I guess in theory we are getting a third one after this as well. So,
as long as this doesn't bomb, yes, because they're not going to film back to back. So that, because I guess Taylor, the reason I brought this up was before Fantastic Beasts came out, there was a report that said they might not do 4 and 5 depending on the box office, and it's doing pretty shit box office. So 4 and 5 are probably done. So that's why things can change. But if this one performs, I'd say the same as the last one, yes, you will presumably get a third, and that's what the director wants to. He pitched as a trilogy, but as we see, it doesn't always happen,
So, I mean, I liked having a character that was kind of, not the Joker, to put it bluntly, I guess. Someone a little bit different.
So you were really excited when the Joker showed up at the end, huh?
I mean, I'll go see it, regardless if it's the Joker or if it's someone else that I know less about. Mm-hmm. It was a good movie, and I am excited to see how it goes. I like Pattinson as an actor as well. I would like to see a bit more of him, not as the Batman. Mm-hmm. I felt kind of like that was lacking, but I don't know if I have enough knowledge really to say specific things that I want to see in it, if that makes sense. I haven't watched all like the Batman Begins and things like that. Nothing, whatever the Pocket Sharks or whatever it was, the original ones.
Pocket sharks? What are pocket sharks?
I don't know. You and Dylan used to always make jokes about the Adam West movie.
Oh, bat spray. Yeah, there was a shark that once bit his leg and spin him.
Wasn't it shark repellent or something?
Bat shark repellent. Bat shark spray, I think it was actually. Someone in the chat tell me exactly, but it's something bat shark. But yeah, some people want to see, some people are like you, they want to see more Bruce Wayne. So I can understand that. I think you will get that because I think they were trying to hint at, oh, well, you could use this persona for good and you don't have to do that. So now I'll ask you this, because we were debating about this in the Discord. And I actually have some streaming numbers which are just always surprise me. But so we were talking about this in Discord, and this one you don't have to have any knowledge, Jessica. Do you think when they eventually get to the point of announcing like a date and a title and everything like that, are they going to go Batman 2? Are they going to go Batman Chapter or Part 2? Or is it going to be The Batman with like a colon subtitle on it? What do you think it's going to be for an actual title?
Ooh.
Taylor, it's coming to you too. Get ready.
I could see both ways. I think it depends on what the route that they go with it could be. Mm-hmm. If it's kind of a completely new storyline, they might, put in that semicolon. If it's very much just a continuation of the storyline we've already been kind of invested in, I could see them just doing it too.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm like in the, I don't know, because I feel like I'm more in the Part 2 camp, because I feel like Part or Chapter 2, because I feel like if it's a trilogy, the idea is like, oh, this is the next part. But I feel like the colon titles always feel a bit more sexier now. I don't want stuff like Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. We're getting a bit ridiculous with our colon titles here. Or what was it? Birds of Prey, The Fabulous Emancipation of One Fabulous Harley Quinn. We need to pick and choose our battles here. So I feel like it could be... I'm pretty 50-50 on it. I feel like we're going to get the colon. I feel like it's going to be the Batman and then whatever it might be. So we'll see. So it was bat shark repellent, I believe, says S-Bub. So there you go. But yeah, it was very handy against sharks.
Pocket sharks were close.
Pocket sharks weren't that close at all, but that's okay. Taylor Field, what do you feel is going to happen with the title of this film? Very important. It could sink the whole franchise.
Yeah, I mean, that could make or break a movie, to be honest.
Yeah,
so.
They might cancel the movie if they hear the title. They're like, no, we don't want that one.
Yeah, that's tricky. I feel like, I mean, I know S-Bubs is, I think he's memeing John Wick there, Batman Parabellum, but I think along the lines of like a one word could possibly work, but
Do you see any potential future of how like Nolan had Batman Begins, The Dark Knight Rises? Not so much The Dark Knight to Dark Knight Rises, because that's just adding Rise at the end of it. But like the Batman Begins to The Dark Knight, that's a whole, like The Dark Knight is a sequel to Batman Begins, but it's a whole different title. It's not, Batman Begins 2 or Batman Continues. Batman's not even in the goddamn title.
This goes with The Batman Rises as a sequel movie name.
I hope, yeah, that's the way to do it. But
could The Batman Begins?
No, I don't think so.
I could see them do. It's tricky. Like if you do a completely change of name, then yeah, you're kind of like paralleling this Nolan, trait, right, that he did with his trilogy, and you don't want to do that. I think that's the biggest thing where you have this realistic Batman and this realistic environment. I'm not comparing this film to, Ben Affleck's Batman. I'm comparing this to the Nolan trilogy. Again, putting it on that pedestal of being like up there with a fantastic Batman movie when you look at The Dark Knight. I'm not just putting it up there because it can meet that tier of excitement and just being an amazing Batman movie. I'm putting it up there as just comparison in this realistic setting and aesthetic as well. So I don't think that they're going to kind of go along that route of being, Batman Begins, making the jump to The Dark Knight. I think it'll be something very unique. I think it'll be very relevant to what that second movie is very much about, which we don't know anything aside from the Joker will make an appearance in these films at some point.
That's not even confirmed, though. That's not even confirmed.
That's not even confirmed. It's all speculation and hearsay. So it's really hard to say. I just imagine that whatever title they go with that second film, it'll bear some relevance to it. So,
I would hope so. I hope they're not just picking titles out of a hat or anything like that. Yeah, Clay, I don't think you're going to get this. They said the Batman, the Detective, and the Playboy, even though he could not type, and that's okay. But the Batman and Catwoman, I would love that, because obviously we got that with Ant-Man, and Taylor's getting frisky now. Oh, he really is. We saw some skin. He has no idea what we're saying. I would love that, because we kind of got that with Ant-Man. It was Ant-Man and then Ant-Man and the Wasp, especially because like Matt Reeves loves to do this thing where he's like, you see this guy, he's not the Joker, he's going to become the Joker. You see this girl, like that's not Catwoman, it's Selena Kyle, she's going to become Catwoman. So I would actually like if it was the Batman and Catwoman, because that would show, one, she's the true Catwoman, she'll get a new costume, and two, that would show her being in a bigger role, which... Actually, I shouldn't even say bigger role. She's like kind of like the co-lead, but I mean like the plot may even focus more so around her. So, yes, Jessica, GeekVerse podcast.
What is his history of naming like when he does follow-up movies or trilogies?
So that's what I had the same thought today. So he's only done 4 films. He's done Cloverfield, he did Let Me In, and then he did Rise of the Planet of the Apes and War for the Planet of the Apes. So that's why I still think something with the Batman's going to stick, because he put Rise of and then War of. But this time I think it would be the opposite, where it's going to be after the Batman. So the Batman and Catwoman could make sense. The Batman and the Robin, I don't know about that. I don't know if we need another though. But he says, or this is not a joke, the Batman and the Robin. I'm still iffy on Robin being in these, but we'll see. I feel like he needs to be a little more grizzled. It's only year 2. He doesn't need a boy wonder yet. So
then what are you hoping for? Because I think I was the only one that answered. What are you hoping for out of this movie? Like new villain?
The sequel?
Yeah.
Like it's tough. You're always like, Clay's gonna bug me in the chat. Anytime the Joker's involved, I'm always down for that. But I've said this before the Batman started. I would have been completely fine with 2 things. One, if we never got a Joker, because we've had many great Jokers, and I don't want to say never, but I always feel like everyone's gonna be playing second for Heath Ledger, which is fine, because like I thought Joaquin was great. I think Barry's like little deleted scene there was great. So I think there can be other good Jokers, but I was always fine if there was no Joker at all. Or if what they did in the movie where Joker... I'm not sure if you've ever seen the scene, Jessica, but they released a deleted scene of the Joker and Batman, and it was him going to the prison, like talking to him about the Riddler. But they cut it because they just felt it was kind of too similar to the Riddler-Batman scene. But they were pitching Joker as like, a Hannibal Lecter character that he would go talk to. And I would actually be fine with that. Like if the whole trilogy, he never broke out. He was just this guy Batman would talk to. So I'm kind of like as... like a complete slut for the movie, as the Batman might be my favorite movie of all time. I'm kind of like, you do whatever, but I'm kind of up for whatever. I'm fine for newer villains that haven't done before. That's always great, but still, then there's stuff like, I know, Kirklin and Taylor really liked the Riddler from Jim Carrey, but I did not feel like that was the Riddler at all. So that's why I'm always down for new versions of new characters, because one, I don't think they've all been done well, but two, there's like, someone always has a different idea, right? They're always like, oh, I see the character in this way. Like, he took the Riddler, it's like, oh, what if Riddler was Jigsaw? And I've always wanted that. So like, okay, cool. Where if he didn't do the Riddler, we never gotten that. So honestly, as Bob said though, I just want more of Batman and Catwoman. Like, that's what I want. I want her to be fully Catwoman. I want, like I said, for a main villain, it doesn't really matter to me. Matt Reeves could pretty much announce anybody from Mr. Freeze to Professor Pig. The big one that everyone wants right now it's called Court of Owls, and it's like this secret cult-like society that lives in Gotham City, and I'd be fine with that. But I'm down with whatever. Really, I don't really care. I'm just happy it's happening. I'm happy solo Batman is back in my life. So.
Has Poison Ivy ever been done again? Like, I know there was one.
In film, no. She's been done in like the Gotham TV show, but not in the big screen and everything like that. And that's what I'd ask you. Do you feel that those characters, because we had talked about this before, do you feel the characters that are fantastical, like a Mr. Freeze with a freeze gun, or a Poison Ivy that controls plants, do you think those can work in this movie, or do you think they're going for like the Nolan Moore, just it's going to stay pretty realistic? Because that's what we talked a lot about. And I think I don't know where Taylor is. I think I'm in the camp of, I think it's going to stay like mostly the criminals, like, or if they're not criminals, it's like the way Bane in the comic books, he hits a button and he gets all jacked up, right? But in the movies, it's just Tom Hardy who lifts weights. Like, that's why I'd feel like if you got Mr. Freeze, it'd be really stripped down to like, oh, he doesn't need to be cold to stay alive and stuff like that.
Excuse me. I actually hadn't really noticed that, thinking about the movie, that it is, there is no real kind of comic book feel to it. It is very realistic. So in that sense, I definitely think they will actually keep that feel to it. I think if they planned on going another route, there would be something in it that led to believe that that's the universe that it's playing in, as opposed to real life. So I think you're right that it probably will stay away from those characters and stick, the Riddler, Catwoman, characters that don't have
Two-Face,
that.
Joker, all these people that could be real in a sense.
You think Joker could be real in a sense?
Well, he's in the movie now, right? Well, and they're like, because you haven't looked into it. This Joker, he's just he's born with a skin disease. That's what this Joker is. That's why he's gonna be, and his face is stuck in a permanent smile. So see stuff like that where, okay, in the comics this guy falls into acid, but what we can do? Oh well, someone had a really bad womb and messed this guy up, So. I've seen so many edits making the blue, or so many people making the blue edits so low. Yeah, it's funny because I wanted the Batman. Everyone's talking about like what the next color is going to be. Like, is he going to stick with the red aesthetic, or is he going to change it up? I wanted blue as well, but I agree with somebody on Twitter. Like, man, I've seen blue so much that it's almost been overdone for the Batman. But if you have someone like a Mr. Freeze, or if it takes place in Christmas, you kind of like, it makes sense with the ice and the snow and stuff. But Taylor, you look like you're not happy with blue.
No, I was just going to say, like, if it is blue, it'd be Mr. Freeze. And that is personally who I want to see. I would love to see Mr. Freeze in this universe. It would be so cool. Just the spin that they could do it. There's some more brilliant story writers than I could ever amount to being. And they could easily concoct some narrative as to how a realistic Mr. Freeze could be in here. So
is that the route you think they'll go? The realistic route?
I think it'll definitely be consistent with realisticness. I mean, just look at everything we got. We got like Cobblepot being, he wasn't even like the gangster leader, but he's not anything to do with like from what I know from the games and seeing in the comics, he just seems so much more like mobster. He just doesn't seem like that flamboyant kind of personality and persona they portray him in those other medias. So
the Penguin is just a nickname. He's not surrounded by birds or has a zoo or has a waddle. Yeah,
I mean, they dig him in the Iceberg Lounge, which is that's the only Penguin real kind of connection.
And true, Clay, I only watched the first season of Batwoman, so I forgot she was in there. For me, the reason I think Poison Ivy, what they don't do is they just save her for eventually when they do Harley and Ivy together, because Harley and Ivy last year just got married and stuff like that. They're a couple now. I've always said you get Margot Robbie, and then you get a really big actress to play Poison Ivy, should be Lady Gaga, and then you have a huge movie together. That's what I think they're kind of saving, in my opinion, what Ivy would be used for, is a Harley Ivy scenario.
When Fanboy Clay says we haven't seen much of female villains, weren't the majority of those females in Birds of Prey villains? Or were just kind of like anti-heroes?
Is he referring to maybe just the Batman's rogue gallery in general? Because who do you got? So you got the original two. You had Michelle Pfeiffer, okay, and then you had Forever and Batman and Robin, and you had Poison Ivy, and then you had just Talia in Nolan's movies. You can kind of count Anne Hathaway's Catwoman, but she ended up saving Gotham, so let's not count her. So really, you count Catwoman again at the other one, but so you got 3 out of what's that? 8 movies now, and I'm not even counting Batman 66. So I think maybe if he means that way, and yeah, I guess I'm not sure. And that's what I would still like. I'd like somehow if Catwoman the next movie was more against him, and then eventually they come back together. But I would like it if she wasn't so much on his side, because right away at the end of this movie, she's already helping him out. So maybe for some sort of big score to take people down, she's not going to be on his team or anything like that, So, well, that's Batman 2. That's been announced. That's going to be confirmed. We will take our first ad break, and then we're going to talk about the rest of this panel. So we will be right back. And we're back. So I also forgot to bring up the Samba numbers. Now, I was trying to find the exact ones. I had to thread them earlier, but I can't find them. S-Bubs, if you're in the chat, I know you're just our guy in the chair, like Clay said. If you got the numbers, throw them up. But anyway, so it debuted second on Samba TV. It was 4.1 million, and this is after like a week of tracking. It was a 0.2 under Mortal Kombat, which is still the king over there on HBO Max. And then the rest of them are all kind of spread throughout and everything like that. Now, I will say there's two sides of this corner. That one, Mortal Kombat, still very impressive that it's number 1. But also that I will say that like the Batman also, this is Mortal Kombat, those other movies, that's when they first were shown, right? The Batman is 45 days, playing. People have seen it multiple times. So I feel like if you were to drop the Batman day 1 on HBO Max, it would beat it. But Taylor, what do you think? I know you're going to joke and laugh about Canada, but what do you think about it still as like Mortal Kombat? Like, why is it still like the king of HBO Max for first week streaming movies? Like, I don't understand. I actually did think even though 45 days, the Batman would still beat it. So again, it has that advantage of Mortal Kombat. The first time you could watch it was on HBO Max versus the Batman being out for a while, but still has the win there. So what do you think about that while I try and find these Samba numbers here?
I think it just comes down to like the timing of when it released. Everything being kind of like shut down, all that jazz. I think throughout this whole pandemic, there are select franchises that capitalized and excelled on it, basically. And I really, truly think that this is one of those things that, as far as things go for streaming movies, HBO Max is probably one of the first ones that kind of made that commitment, saying, hey, theaters are down, but we got this whole plan going forward where all these new full feature films are going to be dropping HBO Max here only exclusively, yada, yada, yada. And so that was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And yes, Mortal Kombat definitely has that high up rating in terms of viewership, but it's accessible for kids at home that are underage too. So you have that, like kids that are at home like, hey, come on, Jimmy, come on over with Bobby, and we're going to watch this super R-rated movie.
Jimmy and Bobby.
Yeah, so you never know.
There you go.
Did you
what
find
about
it?
you, Jessica? No, I didn't. I had this list at some point, but it's completely gone now. So, and the rest of them are like a slew of like, I think Dune's like 2.3 and Justice League is like 2.1 and all this stuff and everything like that. And I'm hoping I just say Samba enough that when my phone will have its brain of its own and just be like, I sent it in the Discord. S-Bubs, you're the best. He's always the best. Here we go. So the top 5 here. So Mortal Kombat, and this is within the first week, so when they premiere to the next week. 4.3 for Mortal Kombat. The Batman at 4.1. Godzilla at 3.9. The Suicide Squad at 3.5. Wonder Woman 3.2. Matrix Resurrections 3.2. Dune at 2.3. And 2.2 for Justice League. I thought Matrix Resurrections didn't do as good as that, so that's good for them. But yeah, any reasoning, Jessica? I think Mortal Kombat still is just just hanging in there. Again, has that advantage of being day one over the Batman, but still impressive for the Batman, a big movie debuting HBO Max, to still have the numbers on it.
Wasn't Mortal Kombat still in lockdown?
Yeah, I think almost all these movies were, except for, technically, I guess, all not lockdown, but yeah, I feel like that's when restrictions were a lot bigger. Like Godzilla vs. Kong, Mortal Kombat, and Justice League was when probably the height of lockdowns and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would guess personally that's the reason. I mean, especially even now we're just starting to get, not to get political, but unvax can now go to movies and things like that, right? So there were, up until a month ago, there was restrictions constantly, limited seating capacities, things like that. So I think the fact that it was just, what else are you going to do? You're stuck at home, a lot of people isolating, and, there's a new movie. Let's rent it, watch it, whatever it is, right?
Yeah, so we'll see. And then last on this thing, Fimble says, Reeves says that he wants to stay ground in the aspect Batman universe, but everyone always brings up the fact that he has done the Apes movies. Yeah, but to me, and I've said this before, and I know Clay's right, that people always say, oh, he's done Apes, but to me that doesn't mean anything, because like Nolan did the Inception, and that didn't mean, oh, now he's going to make Batman all fucking weird and sci-fi and everything like that. So it's like he's a different director who does different things, but... and Mortal Kombat, Clay says, was the first movie to hit HBO Max in 2021 lineup, Warner Brothers Films. And yeah, I'm pretty sure wasn't like I think it was January when it came out. So that's the time I can remember when we reviewed Wonder Woman, and that was like, even us, it was like, you're not supposed to go anywhere, you're not supposed to see anybody, and it's like, well, we can review Wonder Woman all at Christmas because we're not doing anything. So yeah, but even then, the case is, I guess you could. Then someone could say, well, why didn't Wonder Woman do that way? But at the same time, it's still Christmas, right? We did that because we're a podcast. We're content creators. I'm sure there's many people that didn't like rush to be like, well, we could all watch. Like I always said, like if you're going to pick a movie that Christmas that came out, Wonder Woman or Soul, if you're with families, you probably pick the Pixar Soul movie, not Wonder Woman 1984.
Well, and one's a standalone / beginning of a series,
Yes.
and another is a continuation, right? If you haven't seen Wonder Woman, there's no point in renting that.
Yeah. Plus, you don't know. You're like, is there going to be killing in there? Is there going to be blah, 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 Where Soul, I think technically, I guess there was some killing in Soul. The cat died. He died a couple times, but still relatively safe. So later on in that same panel, they showed a bunch of DC footage. We're not going to go over that because like there's just like, oh, this scene of Aquaman, this scene of Shazam. Just going to go after the big news and everything like that. So with The Flash, they showed a trailer. The biggest thing that people say is they just like leaned hard on the Batman stuff, which clearly, obviously, you got a guy that's been arrested 12 times in Hawaii. You're going to probably avoid that. But so a few things. One, people said that at one point they showed Batman around like 7 costumes, so I'm very excited by that. Batman, meaning Keaton's Batman, was de-aged, so we're probably going to get some flashbacks here and there. Taylor, which I put in the group chat, he did not react at all. I'm surprised. There was a line apparently in this trailer of Michael Keaton say, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." Taylor didn't even drop a laugh emoji or excited or anything. I thought you'd be really excited by that one.
No, it's cool. Why do you think I'd be super stoked for it?
Because I feel like I don't know if Keaton's your favorite Batman, but I feel like you get a lot of enjoyment out of that Batman because he's like a wacky Batman. Like if anyone.
Do.
Yeah, so I was surprised, he's meme worthy. If you're looking at any Batman that's like meme worthy, it's kind of him. But you didn't react at all, I was pretty disappointed.
No, I think it's probably caught me at a time when I was like doing errands or something earlier. But no, it's I think it's cool. It's super awesome. I am a huge sucker when movies do callbacks like that, and like you said it. Something of a scientist myself. That's their equivalent, right? Their callback to it. So. I think it's fun. Keaton's definitely my top 3 Batmen, I would say. Like Christian Bale and Keaton, and now Robert definitely is up there.
First of all, don't just call him Robert. That's weird. Then say, is that just your top?
How would you
3
call him? You see him on the
Robert
street.
Pattinson.
You're gonna
Robert
hey,
Pattinson.
hi Robert Pattinson. You're gonna say that when you see him on the street. You're like, no, hey Robert, how's it going?
I wouldn't do that at all. I would just keep walking. I'm not that guy.
You would ignore Robert? Oh my.
Okay,
goodness.
no. There's difference if he said, "Hey, Travis, I listen to GeekVerse, big fan." And I said, "Fuck off, sicko," or like whatever. Like no, I would give him his personal time. There's so many times when we went to wrestling because people would travel at the same time there'd be wrestlers. I wouldn't bug them in the airport because I know how much they don't like that. Like to me, it's if you're at a convention or something, sure. But even then, like, and I don't shit on people that go to conventions at all. I've just never. I think when I was a kid, I got Kurt Angle to sign my stuff, but I've never felt that need to like, oh, I want to stand in line and talk to someone for 30 seconds to a minute. It's just never. I'd rather bump into the person naturally or have that type of story, you know. So. Like that's what happened where one time we bumped into a wrestler and it was really cool because my sister was the dead giveaway. She's like, "Oh, you're this guy," but he was really nice and stuff. He offered to take a picture, and that was a bit more organic. But like again, my sister was like 12 at the time. Me being this like 19, 20-year-old dude, like, "Hey, can I get a picture with?" It's just something weird. So I would, if I saw Robert Pass in the streets of Kelowna, I would not walk up to him and be like, "Hey, get me have a photo." And I also wouldn't be that person that's like in the bushes, like taking a photo of him, like, "Look who is in Kelowna" and stuff like that. So no, and I wouldn't call him Robert. That's what I mean. I wouldn't call like I don't know him. You know.
That's a
Would you
great
call him?
icebreaker.
Would you call him my boy?
I'd call him Batman. I'd say Batman. No, I'm not. Fuck that scene there. But what was I gonna say? No. Oh, what you said? Your top three. Is that your actual? Is that your ranking? Like Bale, Keaton, to Passon? That's
no. My ranking, and it would. This is subject to change. It would probably go Robert, Christian, and then Michael.
fucking Robert. Okay, you answered correctly and everything like that. Let's see. Asbub says I think Kilmer's is the most meme-worthy, maybe followed by Clooney, but Kilmer's at least as a good Batman, at least compared to Clooney. I think you're right, but I feel like Kilmer gets. I guess he is. He gets the smile and he gets the thumbs up. So there is something, but I just feel like there's some things that Keaton says people like. I see you want to get nuts more than the other stuff, you know, just because people drop it all the time. But anyway, so they dropped all this and they just said, okay, yeah, or the trailers, people just said, yeah, there's going to be lots of Batman and stuff. I want to ask you this because Brent, who hosts Marvel Alliance, he shared something in the chat, and I wanted to get your opinion, Jessica. As one, it was some guy posing a question like, Warner Brothers is laying hard on Michael Keaton? They maybe think that, oh, they have like a lot of nostalgia and stuff like that, the same way Marvel had a lot of nostalgia for Tobey and Andrew. Do you personally have any nostalgia for Keaton, which I don't think you do, but do you think that, like, Jessica say no, but do you think that is, how much do you hear about other people talk about Michael Keaton? Like, I'm trying to gauge like what you think of that does is pulling people back in, because this is the first guy to ever play Batman on the big screen in 1989. So what does that do for your circles?
You guys have been talking about him. No idea where he fit in, what he played. You know, for me, it does absolutely nothing.
What do you know Michael Keaton from?
I don't.
You don't know Michael Keaton? Okay, I thought
I'm sure if I
that's not
looked
the
up
one
his
lead
movies.
It's Birdman or Beetlejuice. He played Beetlegeist, you know, stuff like that. But he was the first Batman. So yeah, if you don't know, Jessica, what's happening in the next Flash movie is the Flash can be traveling different timelines and multiverses, similar to No Way Home, and he's going to be bumping into the very first Batman, Michael Keaton. He's coming back since 1992. He did, and you should watch these movies. They'd be up your alley. They're directed both by Tim Burton. They'll hit your like emo kid all the way. Cars? What's with Fanboy Clay and Taylor throwing out Cars and the other guys? Fuck off with these comparisons.
Clay, who did he play in Cars? I actually have no idea.
I don't know either because those are shit films. When we do the Pixar rankings in June, those are right at the fucking bottom.
Cars 1 is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, it's fucking trash, just like the car heaps and everything like that. So Jessica can't answer that. But Taylor, what do you feel as far as the comparison of Keaton
He's
like,
Chick Hicks.
From which?
Cars.
Oh, okay.
Chick Hicks?
The green car. The third car.
The GOAT.
Oh, yeah. No shit. Interesting.
I don't like the car. You know, I've never let the girls watch a single Cars yet because I'm fine with Taylor, you can parent your own way you want to. I'm fine with them replaying Frozen. I'm fine with them replaying, especially Turning Red, because Turning Red's fucking phenomenal. Moana, I'm fine with that. I could not take if they liked Cars and I had to replay that over. So that has been. I've let them.
Have you watched Cars?
I've watched it. Well, I've watched them all once, and they're all meh. They're all fun. They're not Here's the thing: they might be fine animated films, but they're not Pixar level animated films. That's my issue. I think that's the thing where it's like. these aren't that good. Like when you think about like Toy Story, Incredibles, Up, Finding Nemo, and then Cars. No, Cars is not in the same fucking ballpark. There's no way. Cars 2 is overhated. No, it's underhated. This is underhated. All those are underhated.
Cars 2 was terrible.
Yeah, all
Cars
that
1
stuff.
is
Clay
good.
popping off.
The only good thing I had about Cars is like I kissed the most popular girl at like a screening at class because it's just like go Travis me. But then she dated someone the next week and I thought I had a chance.
Or because you found out you hated Cars. Like, oh, this
yeah,
guy's
that's it.
fake.
But anyway, so what do you think, Taylor, as far as Keaton having a pull similar to Toby and Andrew? Do you think it's there? Because obviously, look at Jessica. She knew about Toby and Andrew, but doesn't know about Keaton, that history of Batman. It's an older demographic as the 80s and 90s. Where do you think that goes for the future of this? Obviously, this movie's not out for another year or some, but what do you think that does for it, hype and box office wise?
Yeah, I think that they should have done this a long time ago. I think personally, I am super stoked for this. I think it's definitely it's up my alley at least. I'm excited to see Keaton back in there, and yeah, I think it's just a shame because the ship hasn't sailed yet, but it's definitely out of the harbor. So yeah.
Is that just a nice way of trying to say that most of the people that were fans of these movies have started to die off? Is that what you're trying to say?
I think a lot of them are probably dead or dying. So
Well, it's not a bad exaggeration because like a few years ago, my dad had like a quadruple bypass surgery. He's doing great now, but if he would not have survived, he would not have seen this movie. And that's where it will be interesting because I do think there's going to be a huge audience. Like, I got to see this with my dad. This was the first Batman movie I watched. I watched this VHS religiously, stuff like that. I think the good thing is not for Jessica, but for other people, like Keaton has made a comeback since Birdman, so he's been more in the public eye and stuff like that. Plus, he was Vulture in Spider-Man No Way Home, Jessica, or Spider-Man Homecoming. That's who you are.
I was waiting to say that I did know him from that.
Yeah. So, like, before, and this guy loves Batman because even when he was doing Vulture, he would say, like, under the suit, like, he'd tell himself, like, I'm Batman, like, during the fight scenes and stuff like that. So, I think it's... I'm not as bad as Taylor where the ship's left the harbor because I think people are going to get hyped. You're going to see that thing where if those films are on Netflix or in Crave when it's like the trending films of that week or month, those films are going to be watched a bunch because you're going to have a bunch of people trying to catch up. Because luckily, there are only 2 movies that are like around 2 hours. It's not like the MCU where it's like, here's 50 movies you have to watch to catch up. Even Spider-Man No Way Home, it's like you have to watch these 3 Tobey movies, these 2 Andrew movies. No, this is just, you watch these 2 and you count up on Michael Keaton. And the good thing is, like, I think they're just going to use him as like a mentor. It doesn't have to be, you have to see them all. Family Class says, I just don't think Keaton has the energy to last longer to pull the future of the DCU. I don't think he has to pull the future of the DCU. I think like you get this big cash in on this movie and anything more is gravy. Whether he's in Batgirl with the streaming movie or box office, it works. It's the same way as Toby and Andrew. As long as it works and as long as people walk out of there loving Michael Keaton's performance, they'll come back and see more of it. But I don't think he is the future of the DCU. I think he's just going to help set some things up and then bounce,
So it does say that he is in Batgirl, so he is obviously
he's
at least
confirmed.
doing, yeah.
He apparently has a 2 to 4 movie, well, clearly 2, but a 2 to 4 movie deal is what he has.
he just needs to help ease the transition off of Ezra.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what's smart about them, at least even in this trailer that they showed there, that I think they're going to lean hard a lot on, it's called The Flash, but it's going to be, like, I wouldn't even be surprised they somehow change the title to Flash or Batman or something, because like they're going to lean hard on the Keaton Batman stuff, especially him promoting it, Were you going to say something there, Jessica? Yeah, it looked like it. I saw the mouths getting ready to move.
It's gone though.
It's gone now.
Oh, I remember. I think that they will hopefully go with, you don't actually have to watch the 2 movies that Keaton was in at all to know what's going on. Because, I mean, you could watch Homecoming and still understand that they were Spider-Man from different universes. It's the same thing. And I would hope so, because I'll be honest, I don't plan on watching the Keaton movies.
Oh, you gotta watch the.
You
it's
really,
only
really
2.
should.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I actually don't think you'll have to. But again, it's Tim Burton. You're all about that Tim Burton aesthetic and stuff. Like, this is height, especially Batman Returns. You're gonna really appreciate. 1, you get to see the great Michelle Pfeiffer and finally know what I'm talking about. But 2, that's like the most like emo-est, like dark, like Night Before Christmas superhero movie that exists. Like, just wait till you get the Penguin. He has some dark stuff going on. This man literally has a penguin army with rocket ships attached to their heads. You gotta watch them. Batman Returns is a Christmas movie. you'll get some enjoyment out of it, you know. So you got till
Oh,
June 2023.
Fanboy Clay's on my side.
Yeah, but he's wrong about a lot of things, you know. He thinks Florence Pugh's not a good actress. He didn't like the Batman. He thinks manslaughter is also murder, which he said, like, I went to law school once. That's a lie, because those are two different things, but that's okay. We'll move on from that. So that's coming out. Oh, and that's the other thing. People are comparing, like, No Way Home. That's also completely not fair, because with No Way Home, you had Tom Holland's first two Spider-Man already, which are really well liked, and people had seen a lot of them, right? This is Ezra Miller's Flash, which is, and this is the first time that Keaton's being back. Also, in No Way Home, you didn't just have like Toby. You had Toby, you had Andrew, you had Dafoe, you had Jamie Foxx, you had Alfred Molina. You had like 6 to 7 returning
Michael
characters.
Keaton.
Yeah, and then no, he didn't. He wasn't in No Way Home, unfortunately.
Morbius.
He was in Morbius. Yeah, good for him. Good trade off there. But that's the thing.
Michael
where
Keaton? No, he was Vulture, right?
Yeah, but he's not. No, that's Homecoming.
Homecoming. Okay,
Homecoming.
sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, and you had Charlie Cox. Yeah, sure. And I guess it was people knew about it, but still, like, you had like huge returning cast. This would have been like, yeah, Jack Nicholson's coming back as a Joker. Michelle Pfeiffer's back. No, this is just Michael Keaton. So I don't think that it's gonna have that same pull, because that's like such an event. But I do think this is gonna definitely pull that older generation of people that got into these. You know, so. We'll see. And then the other big thing that was confirmed was, so months ago this came out where there was like a website or something. It was like a casting website or whatever it may be about Michael Shannon being back for The Flash as General Zod from Man of Steel. He was the villain in that. But now they came out and he was officially in there, because in this footage he was in there. And this is obviously making some fans worry, because there's some rumors out there that they're going to be retconning a lot of things, and there was a lot of rumors concerning Zod, and now that they've shown Zod, a lot of people think this is true, that you may get in a situation where instead of Henry Cavill's Superman being the leader of the super people, it's going to be Supergirl and stuff like that. But how do you feel about Michael Shannon being back? And how do you feel about if there's some sort of, I don't know, retconning, but just like changing of like the story of, well, it's not Superman, it's Supergirl now in that spot, you know?
I'm not opposed to it. I really like Michael in that role as playing General Zod. I thought it was pretty cool, and I think we didn't get enough of him in Man of Steel, to be honest. So to see him pop up throughout that timeline and other parts where they have his dead body and they're using him to do their voodoo magic, I think was kind of cool. But I think that from an alternate timeline, and he just makes an appearance in there, and whatever context, I don't know, but it would be very cool. So. I'm very much in favor of it.
Jessica, any thoughts? Because I know you're somebody that likes Man of Steel. Any thoughts of that villain? Because he died at the end of Man of Steel. But again, this is what you get to do with these multiverse movies. You get to bring people back, and he is going to be back. And that's kind of some of the rumors that there may or may not be a universe where Superman didn't show up, but Supergirl did. And I'm not sure if you've seen this. They've cast a woman as Supergirl who's like going to be like she's one of the main characters in the movie. So how do you feel about General Zod coming back?
Is this the same Supergirl that's in the show?
No, new.
So
actress,
they're just
new
going
character.
completely new.
Yeah, it's not like the Disney Plus shows. All those shows on CWs are completely separate. They don't want to deal with that stuff.
It brings me hope, that you would have Henry Cavill come back, but I don't know that it's going to happen. I honestly don't remember the character enough to have much opinion on him coming back or not. I just like the idea that, you would think if we're having, Zod from that timeline, that it would be the same Superman. You would think Zod would be different in a different timeline maybe, but...
He might be different, yeah, because I think this is what they're proposing. It's a timeline where Superman wasn't there, as in that's why Zod's not dead, because there's no stopping him. But then a Supergirl shows up and yada, yada, yada. But I think he'll probably just play the character pretty similar, so... And I suppose I know when I talk about, I'm being cagey because I've seen some leaks. I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to say too much and stuff like that. But we'll see. Snyder fans, just calm down. We'll see what happens. We'll see what they do, And then they just confirmed. They just showed a bunch of stuff of Shazam and Aquaman. They confirmed that Black Man is going to be the villain in Aquaman 2. It's the main one. I'm pretty excited about that because I was really worried they're going to shelf him. It's going to be about the two brothers. They got to get together and stop Black Manta. I like that. So I was happy about the Batman, and that's pretty much it. Let's see here. Let's go to Sony. Sony's panel yesterday. So they did a few things where they announced the Spider-Verse 3 title. It's going to be called Beyond the Spider-Verse. So we got Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, and Beyond the Spider-Verse. I don't even know what's Beyond the Spider-Verse. I feel like you're getting really trippy, and you're getting like I feel like if you're not in the Spider-Verse anymore and you're beyond it, are you even around Spider people? I don't even know. But it's going to say that Part 2 and Part 3 are going to feature over 240 characters and 6 universes. So I think we're going to get pretty nuts and everything like that. That's coming out March in 2024, though. So it's a long ways away. The next one comes out next year. Anything to say on that? I have other Sony panel news, but anything to say on that Spider-Verse part particularly?
I'm stoked about it. I love the first one. I'm excited to see where they go with it. And because it is animated, it's not limited to, what can be done with the human peoples. Yeah, that's my thought. I'm excited.
Taylor, 240 characters. Predict them all. Go.
240 characters, all voiced by Nick Cage.
Whoa, that's a lot of work for him.
Yeah.
Is Nick Cage coming back in these ones, Taylor?
Yes.
So when do you think, though? Because Part 2, so they showed off some footage, and it was Spider-Gwen, Miles, and he was like working on some sort of machine so he can travel multiverse. But it was them, it was Oscar Isaac's Spider-Man 2099, and it was Jessica Drew's Spider-Woman, who is 5 months pregnant, and she's crime fighting, which is a storyline where she's Spider-Woman and pregnant. So that seems to be our squad now. But do you think Nick Cage will appear here or number 3?
I'm not holding my breath that he's going to appear in number 2, but I absolutely will bet that he's in Part 3. I think we'll have the whole crew back from that first film, and again, over 200 characters. I mean, why wouldn't they? Like
240.
240. Is he like? Imagine if he's the only Spider-Man that's not in there in that roster. It would just be absurd. So.
I think you're right. I feel like number 2 we meet some new people, and then number 3 is like the end game where it's like all the Spider people together, and you get like a bunch of cameos and everything like that. Are Toby, Andrew, and Tom in 3? Yeah, I think so. I think they'll be voicing them, and it sucks for them a little bit because I feel like that was always there. They said they had that idea for number 1, but they wanted to wait on it. But then I feel like the movie's like, we're gonna do this first. So it would still be cool. Don't get me wrong. Like if they're in there, that's gonna be awesome. It's not gonna be the exact same as the hype of that, but still, it's different. But I think they will be in there. You guys think they'll be in there?
I think so.
Yeah. So all I want is Spider-Man animated stuff. And then they announced, and as Fanboy Clay's listing there, they announced a Spider-Man spinoff. So right now we've got Venom. We've got Venom 2, we've got Morbius, we got Kraven the Hunter coming out, we got Madam Web. I'm sure there's some other fucking movie in there as well, too. But they announced Spider-Man spinoff El Murtero, I think is how you say it. Murtero. You're going to look it up, but I don't think it's going to help you with the pronunciation. El Murtero?
El Muerto.
El Muerto.
Starring too much emphasis on the R.
No. El Muerto. But starring Bad Bunny. So this is a villain of Spider-Man. He is a super-powered wrestler. So you might be thinking, man, Travis is up your fucking alley, right? Absolutely not. It's going to be starring Bad Bunny, who is a... Do you guys know who Bad Bunny is? Okay, so quiet from the crowd, so that's a no. So which is funny because lots of people don't. He's like a Hispanic, like hip-hop rapper, very popular sensation type of guy, but again, not that big as you guys don't know who he is, so fair enough. But he's going to be starring in this. I'm going to go first before I throw out these two. Now, is it a great sign that they're announcing... Taylor pronounced it right? Espo, that's a lie. That's a lie. So, Taylor, how do you pronounce it?
El Muerto.
El Muerto. I did that on purpose. So here's the thing. Is it a good sign that they're, out of all the characters, right? They got this whole roster of so many people that you could pick from Marvel Sony, right? Marvel Spider-Man. Let's see. Where to white way to pronounce it? Which one though, Clay? Because it could be who's pronouncing it the white way. You know, that could be Taylor. I don't know if he has any Hispanic.
Where to?
Where
is
to?
What? Yeah.
Then you're, because Clay's Hispanic, and I'm going to take his word over S. Bob's. Unless S. Bob's, you need to reveal that you're Hispanic. But Taylor, you're not saying where to.
And where to?
Yeah.
Can you prove this, Clay? I need to actually have evidence here.
It's what? Oh my goodness. Anyway, so them taking this character who has only 2 appearances, yeah, maybe not the greatest thing, right? There's not a big backstory there. It just feels like they are just every company is trying to cash grab with everything they own, IPs, etc. But there's still like a level of passion you need there, right? So hopefully the idea is that Bad Bunny, these producers, they will find a way to make this a good project, and that's why they're doing it, because they're passionate. There's a pitch of, oh, this will be great, let's do it. I don't know why they take this character. I don't know where they... Espos is also Latino. What the fuck is going on? What's happening? But I don't know why they're going this route. And there's many characters I think you could pick that would get people excited. But for me, it's just... You look at Guardians of the Galaxy, or you look at, like, Jessica, did you know who Ant-Man was before they announced they're doing an Ant-Man movie? No, and there's so many movies, Guardians, Ant-Man, Captain Marvel, where people did not know them at all. They announce the movie, it's big, they make it good, people like it, you know, whatever. It works out. So it's not even just that's like, okay. One, yes, it is weird why we pick an M. Muerte. Now I have 3 ways of saying they're making this Bad Bunny movie. I'm going to learn to say it while you 2 are talking. They're making this movie. And for me, it's just that I have not enjoyed a pure Sony live-action Marvel movie since 2004, which is Spider-Man 2. There's some ones that are varying degrees, but I've not loved one since then. The Holland ones don't count because those are partnered with Feige, and Spider-Verse doesn't count because I said live-action. I don't know why they can't crack the code and what they're doing with Spider-Verse and bring it over here. I just have like no faith in what's going on. I do love that there's a debate in the chat of how to pronounce it, so that's good. But they could announce anything. They could get fucking Batman tomorrow and announce, hey, we're doing a Batman movie, because it's Sony, and what I've seen with Venom, Morbius, the Andrew Garfield movies, which I was not the biggest fan of, I'm not looking forward to this at all, and I just don't know what the hell. Like, this just feels like they want to make some sort of movie and they put the Marvel tag on it. So it's just like, I don't know, sure, we're doing this movie about El Muerto, who's a super-powered wrestler, and he was a villain, but he's going to be a hero. I don't know. I don't have any interest in this. Of course, I'm gonna see this for the podcast. There's gonna be a review of El Muerto, but I have no interest. So Taylor, what do you feel about Sony announcing this film? They got a star. It's coming out January 2024. He has had literally 2 appearances in the comic books. And
great.
That's it.
They got so much source material right
Yeah.
off of them.
Yeah.
I didn't know about this guy at all, and of all the obscure Spider-Man villains, this is the one they chose, so let's run with it. Let's see how it goes. I am not particularly stoked. Again, I haven't even seen Morbius yet. I haven't had that push and that sensation driving me to the theater to fulfill that calling of seeing it and slapping down that $12. So I don't know. This is probably not going to be a theater watch for me. You mentioned like the last Marvel Sony films that were good for you is like Spider-Man 2. I was just looking at the list. I'm thinking, shit, like the last ones for me, I didn't mind that Amazing Spider-Man duo feature.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, and lots of people do like them. I was just, for me, like my pure stance.
Yeah, I personally really enjoyed like Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance from Sony Pictures back in 2011. That was definitely a gem. But
again, that's definitely a you personal experience and not so much a me.
Oh, it is. I'm sure there'll be many you, not literally you, but you personal experiences associated with El Muerto. So,
yeah. Jessica, you got any? What we said there? Any? You haven't seen Morbius? Did you? I know you. Have you seen any of the Venom movies?
I saw the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see Let There Be Carnage.
So
and
what
no,
does
I
it
haven't
take?
seen Morbius yet.
So what does it take for you? Like when we were talking about, like obviously it's a little bit different in the MCU because it's like a TV show, right? Where you got to catch up on these stuff like that. So what does it get for you to see a film where you don't know anything about the character and you haven't heard this character before? Is it just simply like, hey, if you see a trailer and this looks great, you're gonna be in? Like, what does it take? Like, are you really excited to see a superpowered wrestler? You know, that sounds right up your alley.
So, I don't watch TV. When I'm scrolling social media, I don't stop and watch commercials or trailers unless it's for something we're talking about. So really I don't have much to go on for it, except for, what people end up saying is good or bad. And then besides that, it's, actors who are listed in it or descriptions that if we're talking about it and look it up. But, we're talking about this and I look it up and it's, a super powered wrestler who's skilled in strength and fighting. Like I have zero interest in seeing a movie about a wrestler whose strengths are being a skilled wrestler with an actor or a singer or whatever this Bad Bunny
He's starting to become
is.
an actor now. He's in a movie later on this year with Brad Pitt, so that's good.
I got nothing on. I have no interest whatsoever. Like negative. Like
Negative
Taylor
interest.
would have to pay me more than just buying my ticket to see this.
And it doesn't even sound like Taylor's seeing it, so that's like a me solo review right there. And that's going to be a tough sell. Fan McClay, he said this earlier just with the regular questions. How, with the rest of Sony's live-action universe, the non-MCU stuff is gone, should Sony just extend extend into the Spider-Verse universe, keeping their lane strictly animation? So, like, there's two minds that I have, right? If you were to ask me what I want, yes, absolutely. I think that's the way to go. But if you were to ask me the business-wise, no, because I'll have to pull it up here. But I feel that Spider-Verse is still the lowest. Let's see, Spider-Man rankings. It's the lowest box office, and I know people kind of hate when they go, "Oh, it's always about money with you, Travis." But it's just like you look at. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse made $375 million. Let's just round say $400 million, right? This latest Venom just made about $700 million. The last Venom made about $800 million. Now, Morbius, not doing that hot. So that could honestly, you'd have to get a lot more of, if all the films were going in this type of route of similar box office, then sure. And yeah, sure, it won an Oscar, but unfortunately, you ask most people in Hollywood, what are they going to take? A massive hit film or the Oscar? They'll probably take... Majority of them will probably take the money. Yeah, they'll probably, like, the artists will say, "Oh yeah, this," or just not even an Oscar, just recognition, a good movie, or it's like, "Hey, you can make this." Sorry, Taylor, not so great Transformers movie, but make $1 billion plus. They're probably going to take that, right? So Venom, if it's not that great, they'll keep chucking that out. And the other thing you got to take advantage of or take a look into is animation takes a lot longer of a time and a turnover. You can't just go. You can go and film one of these Marvel movies and maybe 4 to 6 months to be done with that, even less than that sometimes. Where the animation, that could take multiple years. Look at Spider-Verse. It was supposed to come in November, got delayed all the way till next June because they need time to finish the animation. So I think that's where, unfortunately, it's financially more lucrative for them to stick with these live action ones. I do think if they get a string of these movies just keep doing poorly, eventually something will bust, but it's just like then they put out a Spider-Man movie and that makes almost $2 billion. They put out a Venom movie that almost makes $1 billion. So it's almost like they keep going, like they get to stay above ground because those other movies make so much money. I just think they have this Marvel property. I think there's a smarter way to do it with all these Spider-Man characters. Like I've always said, I don't know why there's not a live-action Spider-Gwen movie yet, or a Miles movie yet, or a 2099. It's great you're doing animation, but I feel if you want to do these, just Spider-Man characters because you own them, there's other routes to go than, El Muerto, the superpowered wrestler,
I got a question for you. You're saying that Spider-Verse made 400 and Venom made 800. Do you know what the cost of production was on each of those? So like what the return was?
It'll be out there somewhere. So let's take a look at here. The Venom budget. Let's see. The Venom budget. Oh, I don't want the fucking sequel budget. I want let's see. It was a 90 million budget. So pretty good. So if, let's say the budget was 100 million, it made about 7 times its budget. So that's pretty good. And then Spider-Verse
was 90 million.
90 million. So that did not make 7 times its budget. So there you go right there. And I don't know what Spider-Man No Way Home was. I think it was like 200 million, but still almost made 2 billion. So there's other ones that are like flops and stuff. But if you were to look on the sheets of papers and see, what we're going to do, you'd probably stick with the live action stuff because there's still people. I'm hoping that the next Spider-Verse is bigger because I feel like it's always trending on Netflix when it's on there. And I know tons of kids watch it now, and I think people will give it a shot. But you never know. It could come out and do kind of the same. But the good thing is that they're invested in it because they're doing part 2 and 3 back to back. So at least we got that. So let's take our next ad break and then we'll talk about some other movie news. So we'll be right back. And we're back. So now we're just going to talk about some general movie news and then some trailer. What are you laughing about, Jessica? What happened?
just the S-Bub's comment, break glass in case of emergency, but inside the case is a completed Venom sequel that will instantly bring a couple $100 million.
Oh, that's a scary thought. I don't like that. But what I do like is this Barbie movie. Now I got to bring this up because I'm not sure if you can, Taylor, can you work on getting an image for the Margot Robbie Barbie movie? Now, so people, we talked about this with Matt in the Discord, and people, you know, including, I'll say he was shitting on it a little bit, but this was part of Warner Brothers panel. So this news is kind of a mix of Warner Brothers and Sony's panels. They showed the first picture of Margot Robbie as Barbie. Now, it's going to look exactly what you think Margot Robbie would look like as Barbie. But I'm telling you, this is going to be a fucking fantastic film because you got her, and then you got Ryan Reynolds playing Ken. And if people don't know, if they've forgotten, is Greta Gerwig is the one directing this. This is a lady who did Little Bird, or
Lady Bird.
Lady Bird. I took Lady Bird and Little and put them all together because she did Little Woman. That's what I was thinking of next. Two great films. So I have every hope in the world. And what's interesting is a few weeks ago, I wish Kirklin was here, but there's this girl on Sex Education, but there's always been memes that she looks identical to Margot Robbie, like they look very similar. And she is cast. Oh yeah, Ryan Gosling is playing Ken, not Ryan Reynolds. Which thank you, S-Bubs, because I would not actually want that. But she is in this film. Everyone said like, "Oh, she looks like a young Margot Robbie." Da, 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 da. Taylor, how did you take so long to find that? Jessica just
my computer froze trying to pull up this image here.
Too much Barbie porn on there. But yeah, anyways, so. Originally, a long time ago, this movie was like starring Amy Schumer, and the movie was something to do with that the Barbie like committee decided she was not pretty enough to be Barbie, so she gets sent to the real world. Now, I don't know if this movie is like that. I think there's going to be something similar because they have her and they have like that girl that everyone says like a younger version of Margot Robbie. But I think they will do something where they'll be like, oh, this is the younger, prettier version, and you have to do something. And they've been very cagey on the plot. Again, it looks like what Margot would, but I'm super excited for this. Like, Will Ferrell's also in this. It's like also, like, there's a stat cast. Oh, Jesus. Why is it so... Jesus. Doesn't know how coming in. But she has the classic car, if you can't see below. But I think just Margot Robbie's going to kill this. And just what do you think about a Barbie movie? Because I think it's likely going to be very meta. It's not going to be like just a straight up, because I think that's what some people are thinking when they see like, oh, why do they need to make a Barbie movie? But I think it's going to be very tongue in cheek and like have a lot of references. And Taylor, you can take that down now. It's just so zoomed in, my God. But what do you think about a Barbie movie? That was the first image we got today.
I think it'll definitely be super campy, won't be serious, and I think it'll be fun in that sense. You know, one of those movies that, you know, sit down and, you know, joke about it while you're watching it. Mm-hmm. It's not something I think will be a fun theater experience. I think it's more of something, you know, you
I think
watch
it could be,
and
though.
joke.
If it's funny enough for the crowd, you might have a good time. I don't know how much comedy it will be, but I bet you could.
Well, because, I mean, do you think it'll be like fourth wall breaking and things like that too? Like, how far gone do you think it's going to be?
I don't think she'll like look into the camera and talk, but I think close enough, like something similar to that. But it could, like she could be narrating, so I know people might be like, well, that's breaking the fourth wall. She's talking to somebody. But I think more like the way Deadpool, Ferris Bueller, like literally looks in the camera. I don't know if she'll do that. S-Bub says it's inspired by Truman Show, which that's like a very meta type of thing. So I think there could be lots of I think there is going to be lots of comedy in this. So I think it could be a fun theater watch. I think it's going to do gangbusters at the box office too, with all these stars and just the Barbie brand. I think that's a multi-generation type of brand that people will just even be curious. I just think you hear Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling as Barbie and Ken, right away you go, okay, like what the fuck is this movie? Like what are we doing here? You know?
And we got Will Ferrell in it.
Mm-hmm.
No, doesn't say what he's doing. Michael Cera.
Oh God.
What has Ryan Gosling been in that's been funny, though?
Oh, my God. Crazy Stupid Love, The Nice Guys. Crazy Stupid Love is funny. Why'd you make that face? That's a comedy, right,
It's definitely
Taylor?
a comedy.
That's a rom-com.
That's a good rom-com.
When they go shopping for clothes, he's picking up the girls. The Nice Guys for sure is another one. He's got the chops. Go watch his SNL episode about Santa, you know?
I will not do that, but okay.
Oh, no, you should watch the skit about Santa. It's fantastic. It's only like 5 minutes. Simu Lee, who plays Sung-Shi. So, yeah, that's a really good one as well. So, what about you, Taylor? You're excited for this Barbie movie, right?
I mean, I have no reason not to be excited for, board games and toy movies. I'm a big sucker for battleships, and that was pretty good. So I think them dabbling into this realm it's got my seal of approval on it. And I think Barbie has an element of, I don't want to say it probably could not rival, but just kind of put out its own vibe that's reminiscent of Clueless. I feel like whenever I see, like when I saw that photo and just like the vibe of what we could get from this movie, I just feel like
the
we get
90s
something.
teen girl comedy. Clueless?
Yeah, I feel like it'd be something kind of like Clueless
okay.
almost. So, which is a great movie. But Paul Rudd's fantastic in that film. But yeah, I think you get something along those lines, but much more toned in because things are different these days.
Dylan Musk says the elves skit, but I just don't know what elves skit you're talking about. This is if you have kids, skip ahead or plug your ears. This is a skit where they're at it's him and a woman. They're at a Christmas party and they're like, oh, Santa's upstairs, and they're grown people and they still think Santa Claus is doing his thing, in the real world, but they're not in on the secret, and they get really bossy to Manny when Santa won't come down. They get like violent and he's just like, Santa's gonna, and they get really sexual. Like, watch it, it's fucking good. I'm telling you, it's really good. And like the makeup and hair they have him in, like he has this terrible wig, but they're just like, you gotta bring Santa down here right now. I gotta thank him for everything he did for me. So yeah, I recommend that skit, and I'll definitely be reviewing this. Kirklin will get on the review with me because he likes that other girl, so we'll be there. I know this is what Taylor's going to be reviewing, probably alone. The Nun 2 was confirmed today, Taylor. Was that exciting for you?
What? This is the first I've heard of this. Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. That was at the Warner
No
yeah.
way.
So I would do these newscasts because we're the most informed people in the fucking world here. But yeah, that was like what they start. Because James Wan, he did a few things where he talked about Aquaman. They're doing Stephen King's Salem Lot, which apparently people said the trailer was scary, but we don't have that. But, and then we have... and Esbub will answer that box office question in a second. And then, yeah, they said that they're working on The Nun 2, which The Nun was fucking god-awful. That was a really bad one. I regretted seeing in the theaters. Luckily, that's when I had Cinemia, so I didn't pay much for it. But, man, I do not need a sequel to this. But that's the case. I guarantee you look at the budget of The Nun, you look at the box office of The Nun, all those James Wan Conjuring movies are cheap. And, like, not cheap and about it, just like they make them. They're really smart with how they do it because their scares aren't that bad. So I have no interest in this. I might see it because I'm a suckering for like the Conjuring universe, and I did a big catch up the other day. But Taylor, how does this make you feel?
I'm super jazzed on this, actually. So yes, that first Nun was definitely rough. It was very, very rough. But in the whole Conjuring verse that we have, the Curse of El, I can't say this name properly.
It's
I know
El
you can,
Muerto. No.
yeah.
The Curse of La Rona.
Yes. Now
S-Bubs and Fanboy, tell me, The Curse of La Rona. Am I saying it wrong or right? Tell me if I'm saying that one wrong or right. But
I would prefer that over The Nun. If I had to watch either of them.
La Llorona.
But I feel like it's something about I heard like the ending is La Llorona. Like there's a little.
Oh, there's definitely a rule, but I can't rule.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm a big sucker for the Conjuring verse. Again, Annabelle
is
my jam. It's been super quiet since The Devil Made Me Do It, but I'm a huge sucker for Annabelle, and the reason I'm excited about this is that first Annabelle movie. Like, as much as I enjoyed getting that backstory a little bit, it was definitely, my years of wisdom now. It was rocky. It was lacking.
Yeah, you recommended that movie to Jessica too.
I did recommend that to Jessica. The kicker now.
Oh my god.
Is La Llorona.
La Llorona?
La Llorona? That's definitely not it.
No, I don't think it's La Llorona. But I know what you're saying, but maybe the J is silent. But also, I don't know for sure. I need like an audio of it, but yeah. I'll stick with La Llorona because I like saying it.
Yes, yeah. So with
look
Annabelle,
at this though. The Nun budget $22 million, box office $365 million. Yeah. Are you fucking kidding me? That's ridiculous.
So again, with Annabelle, you have probably similar earnings of that. I think it made like $250 million US. So
it's almost 17 times its budget.
Yeah, so it warrants a sequel for sure. But here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. That first Annabelle movie was rocky, but the second one, Annabelle Creation, was fucking fantastic. It was probably my favorite Annabelle movie. And then Annabelle Comes Home, that one was it's not Annabelle creation, but it was definitely really, really good in what they were able to explore. It was it was fun. So you get over that rocky thing in that first one with the Conjuring verse, and I think, okay, they get their footing, unless it's a main baseline Conjuring film. That first Conjuring was peak, but with these spin-offs, the first ones are a little rocky, and then it seems like, okay, we learned from the first one, and we're going to kind of amp it up and right what we wronged. So I think with this second one, I have a lot of hopes for this. Again, I'm basing it off the fact that the sequel to Annabelle was fucking fantastic, so I got a lot of hope for this. I'm hoping it doesn't go the way of like that Crooked Man spinoff, because that was another one that was like in the works
TBA
for a
right
long.
now.
Yeah, TBA. Oh boy. So I'm so excited for this. This is fucking great.
Yeah, that's been this is the only one they, like you said, they had Conjuring 3 come out, and then there's the Nun 2 and the Crooked Man, all TBA, but then there's nothing else on the books right now. And like you look at what they were doing at one point, the Nun 2018, Curse of La Llorona 2019, Annabelle Come Home 2019, like they're pumping these movies out, and now they've come in quite, obviously COVID happened too and like stopped some people and like stuff, but yeah, no, and these feel like, because they make them so like dirt cheap, you know, like, yeah, like always, like, like, okay, like this is what's fucking ridiculous, that all the films put together have a budget of 178 million. Altogether, the box office is $2.1 billion. That's fucking insane. That's crazy. Like, good on them, but that's just like, that's massive. So you have any, there you go, I got it, but you got any, I feel like, Jessica, you're out on the Conjuring verse. I feel like you watched a few and you're like, I'm not coming back to this. Is that the same with this? Nun 2 not pulling you back?
So I've seen The Conjuring. I believe I watched at least the first half of Annabelle and The Curse of La Llorona, and then that's all I've watched. Mm-hmm. So I don't see myself coming back to it. I mean, yeah, I don't really have the inclining. I know Taylor definitely raves about them all the time, but I don't know. It just didn't have the draw for me that it does for him.
Well, what might have had the draw for you, but it probably doesn't anymore because it's not coming out this year, is the Mario movie. The Mario movie was supposed to come out this December, and it got delayed till next April. And this is big because, Jessica, you weren't on this episode. I think you may have heard us talk about, but we did a movie draft this year. Me, Kirklin, Taylor, we all drafted 10 movies, and the winner is based on box office. So whoever has the most box office in the year wins. Me and Kirklin had 2 movies already delayed to next year, so we lost 2. He lost, what did he lose, Taylor?
Spider-Verse
Spider-Verse and...
Oh, God, what was that other one?
Flash, because I got both in the next year. And then I lost Mission Impossible 7, and then I also lost Aquaman. And then there's it's the other way. He had Aquaman, I had Flash, and there's rumors of Black Panther. But Taylor was sitting all high and mighty. He was pretty happy. He had not a single movie delayed. But Mario has been delayed to next year. So Taylor, this is I'll say it. I think it's a big blow to your roster, because I think if that Mario movie came out, I think it's going to make lots of money. It's being made by the same team that did Despicable Me and the new Grinch, like Illumination. So I feel like it was going to be a hit. So it's definitely a big hit to your roster, right?
It is a big hit. And I mean, again, it's out of my control. Is either take the risk and go for the big one, or pick something else that's going to earn pennies at the box office, and it doesn't even matter if I have it on there anyways on my list. But I still got some heavy hitters on there, and it is unfortunate that Mario was pushed back. But at the end of the day, you know, they got to take their sweet time and their care with this, because this is a lot on the line when it comes to a Mario movie. You got to really deliver with this, and I just feel like, as far as Illumination goes, they're pretty attentive to the quality that goes into their animation style. And Fanboy Clay, Kirklin had Puss in Boots, so he's still lucky. That one just got pushed to December. Still in the same year.
Yeah, but that's still in that spot. December could easily get going and everything like that. But Jessica, are you excited for the Mario movie when it comes out? Excuse me.
I don't think that Mario should be Chris Pratt. I feel like that was a pretty common opinion.
Who are you casting?
I'm fine with it. It's fucking Mario.
I don't know. Wouldn't you at least cast someone like Italian?
Maybe.
Well,
but
I don't even know if the actual voice actor is Italian, is he?
That's true. You got to be careful there. But I guess it's just, I don't know. It's just Mario, and Mario just has like 4 to 5. Like it's a me, it's a Mario. And I feel like Mario in general is like looked at kind of as like a stereotype of Italian person. But yeah, you could make that case. It could have been someone Italian, but they're just getting Chris Pratt for the name, right?
The guy that voices Mario is of French descent.
There you go. So the original Mario's not. He's French. He's not even an Italian plumber. He's a French plumber.
Do we know like Charlie Day, Jack Black, other well-known names who they're playing? Because I don't see
Charlie
it.
Day is Luigi. Jack Black is Bowser. Anya Taylor-Joy, thank God, is Peach. And then Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong.
Keegan-Michael Key is Toad.
That's going to be great. That's also prime casting right there.
I feel like
what big
it'll
name
have
Italian actor do you choose? That's a good question. Taylor, search up big name Italian actors right now. Make sure you put actors, because you just put big Italian, someone else is going to come.
Oh!
Subway? Yeah, either Subway or some guy named Lorenzo. And he's real happy to see you.
Okay, let me know if you know these. If you guys, either of you know these names. Top 10 Italian actors. We got Vittorio Gassman, Alberto Sordi, Ugo Tognazzi, Massimo Troisi, Toto, Nino Manfredi, and Terrence Hill.
Yeah, so Jessica, which one of those would you put as Mario?
the top one. He's number one for a reason, I'm
Vittorio
sure.
Gassman, yeah.
Yeah.
Considered one of
Mario's
the greatest Italian actors of all time. That's what it says.
I think this movie will have entertainment value just for the actors that are in it. I don't know that I expect quality from it, but I think it'll have at least the laugh factor of watching these actors play this movie.
Do you like the Despicable Me's, like the new Grinch?
Yeah, I haven't seen the newest Despicable Me movie, but I did like The Grinch. We actually watched it pretty much on repeat for Christmas there as the kid movie that was on in the background.
Mm-hmm. Bradley Cooper's Italian. He could have done all right.
Danny DeVito.
Where were you guys? Yeah. Oh, okay. I cast Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito. Oh, you guys cast Danny DeVito and everything, though. You guys had a whole thing that you should play Wolverine. Definitely go away. But, yeah, and Asbubs has the perfect casting. Jared Leto from House of Gucci. His Italian accent, my God. But, yeah, that's Mario. It's coming out next year. They got it delayed this week, so sorry, Taylor. I'm happy because you needed something to be delayed. So, what's also maybe being delayed, but people don't say. So, Jessica, sorry, these next 2 topics are just for me and Taylor, but you can add anything you want. Fast 10 has lost its director in Justin Lin. Justin Lin has directed 5 of these movies, and the film was shooting. It's like 3 days into shooting. And due to creative differences, he has now left the project, and which is very interesting because you feel like you would, a couple days right into filming, you're gonna, I don't know, be on the same wavelength maybe. But I want to find this video for Taylor to bring up here. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna play this, Taylor. I don't know if you'll. No, we haven't figured out how to do standing on streamer. I know it's possible. Anyways, there's just a video. Here's the audio of it.
How does it feel?
Feels like the beginning of an epic ending.
Is it fair to say that this will be the best one?
In my heart, yes.
That was last week with him and the director. Honestly, it went really well. And if you watch the video, everyone jokes that he's just holding him hostage, which is not. But Vin Diesel has been known to be like, the hostage video. Yeah, that's what it's known as. Vin Diesel has been known to be very creative control of this franchise and everything like that. So, Taylor, obviously Justin Lin, he's directed many Fast Furious, some of the best ones. Just give you any worry about Fast 10? A few days into shooting, they lose their director. Got to get a new one.
This is Fast X, right?
Fast X, yeah, Fast 10, baby.
Yeah.
Jason Momoa's coming in this. Brie Larson's coming in this. It's a stacked cast.
Yeah, I'm always down for a fast movie for sure. So, am I worried? No, these movies will be fine. They'll be making them probably until my kids have kids. To be
These
honest,
are the last 2. Vin
These are the
says,
last 2. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Until
I'll believe
next
it. I'll believe that when pigs fly. So
yeah.
And it's the next one that we're doing retros for them.
Me and Taylor have always talked about it. We may have to do it for Fast 10 because what it is, it's the Deathly Hollows. They're splitting it into 2 parts. Really, it's just Fast 10, Fast 11. But we might have to. It's we got a time, so that might be on the docket because we got Jurassic World this year. Next year, what is it? I think we're gonna try and do Halloween. What was the other one? Oh, there's something
Avatar.
coming out. Yeah, well, that's a 1 movie. I'm not really worried about. We got that's a week retro. That's it. No, there's something next year coming out that I saw. I'm like, oh man, we got to do a retro for that. But yeah,
right, you're right. Fuck, what was that? Oh
Yeah.
man, that's gonna bother me.
Would it be in the calendar?
It would be in the
don't think
movie
so.
calendar. It'd be in first showing. Let me do a quick derail. But yeah, so anyways, I think like Taylor said, these films know what they are. They're just to have some fun. They've got past the point of being like really good like action dramas a while back ago. Around Fast 7, which I think is the last one James Wan directed, I would say they jumped the shark with the car a little while back, but now it's just the GTA so dumb it's fun sort of way. I don't think John Wick is coming out next year. I think that's a retro we need to do because we've never reviewed any of those.
Did you say Halloween?
Halloween, but that's this year. That's coming out 2002, right? Yeah. And then Fast 10 is next year. Yeah, maybe I can't remember at all. I wasn't sure we've done Nolan before. Oh, maybe. Yeah, that's the one. I don't know if Taylor would be on this. That's what I was talking with Kirklin about that story is Mission Impossible because that's coming out number 7. That's the same thing. That's the second last one. But I'm like with Taylor. I don't think you're going to have any issues. These movies are not huge on plot. They just need to get someone that knows how to direct action. There's been rumors of directors, but I think you'll get a announcement a few days to a week or whatnot. Esbub says he knows it was a spoof, or Fanboy said Esbub share this in the Discord about the spoof account saying Diesel directed himself. I just don't know if Diesel wants to take on the full pressure, but it's pretty much like he's directing it. It's the same way like Tom Cruise Mission Impossible and some of the movies he does. So, Jessica, I'm sure you don't have anything to add on Fast 10 and your hopes and dreams for that movie.
I mean, if we're doing a retro and we record them on the one day I can record, I'd probably get in on that. I did enjoy them up until I stopped watching them. So if I do that with you guys, then I might have a little more interest in it. But if we don't do any type of retros and I have no reason to watch them, I won't.
When was the last one you watched? Do you remember?
Was
Did you get
probably
to when The
around.
Rock was in them?
No.
Oh, you've missed a lot. There's been a lot happen. Jason Statham's come in.
I think I've seen 4 or 5, so about half.
Rock came in at 5, so you probably stopped at 4.
So 4.
Yeah, and now there's spin-offs with Hobbs and Shaw and stuff. They're just
I
like
did.
the
I did
MCU.
watch Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh, you skip. That's a big skip. You did a Mario level. You went from 4, and then you went all the way to like 8.5. A lot missing there, but that's all right. You know what else is missing? I don't fucking know because I don't have my phone on me to know what the transition is. Oh man, where is it?
Your phone's missing. That's what was missing.
No, oh, it's not missing. It's coming. Taylor, you liked Ghostbusters, right?
Yeah.
You were getting at Ghostbusters Afterlife 2, apparently. They announced that yesterday.
That doesn't surprise me. I feel like that was definitely in the cards. I mean, it was definitely good enough that they could have left it as is. It's a great send-off, but I feel like it was a pretty highly praised film, sequel, redo, kind of whatever you want to call it. But how it ended, I just feel like they left it open enough that they could continue the adventures with these new kids doing whatever they are. And it was a good send-off to the original cast. So it's doing what that other Ghostbusters movie, I guess, wasn't able to do. So, yeah, here we are. And I'm down for it. Like, let's get into more Ghostbusters. I want to see it. I want to feel it and experience it. So I'm very much into it. And I'm curious to see who the new big bad would be because they definitely put the stopper in this god villain and Zool. I don't know if maybe they'll go back to the painting goop story or something like that. Who knows?
I don't think they'll do that one. Yeah, it's interesting because that Ghostbusters movie, when I saw this, I felt like, or I saw the announcement, I felt like a little uneasy. Now, I'm not the biggest Ghostbusters fan, so I don't care that much. But it was just more so, I did well, very positively received, did well at the box office. I think, to me, people that are massive Ghostbusters fans, it felt like, or sound like it hit them all, like it did what Force Awakens did for me. So it's like, okay, I get that feeling, I understand that feeling. But it also is just that where Force Awakens ended on that massive cliffhanger of like, okay, what's next? Ghostbusters to me just felt like, oh yeah, you could end right here, and maybe you should end right here. You know, I don't know if you need more, but again, it is a business, so I'm for it. Like you said, the cast is good. I'm more down for more adventures. I liked everyone in it, adults and kids. The OG can come back. They don't have to come back. Whatever you want to do. I think for me, the biggest hangup is I want to know if Jason Reitman's directing it again, because he was obviously the son of the last director, but obviously Jason Reitman's just a great director in his own right. So if he's back, I'll feel a bit more okay. He's carrying it on. He has more to do. But if he's not, I'm not gonna write it off. But definitely that'll make me feel like buckled up in my seat. If he's out, then I'm like, let's see who else they got and if that person could live up to it. So I'm interested to see what they do. Another thing, they announced that Venom 3 is in development, but we knew that. So, but yeah, that's what some of the Sony panels was. And yeah, we're going to take our last ad break, and then we're going to talk about some trailers. So we will be right back. And we're back. So, Jessica, I'm going to give you the floor. What do you want to start with? There was 3 trailers, and I hope you watched them. But there was the Black Phone, there was Bodies, and there was Lightyear. What do you want to start with?
Let's start with the Black Phone.
Okay, the Black Phone. Is this the first trailer you've seen for this at all or anything like that?
Yes,
And you heard of this movie before?
Nope.
Okay, it is coming out, I think, in July or something like that.
I believe that's, the summer.
Yeah.
Or no, February?
No. It's where'd you pull February from? Where the fuck you went? You went this summer and then you jumped to February? That's not in this summer.
Oh, shit, the fall?
Yeah. Oh shit. Fall.
That's so far away.
That's like September, bro.
Oh no.
Great.
June 24th. I don't know where I
It's
pulled
even
February
closer.
from.
That's fine. But so this is a movie about a man. He's kidnapping kids. And it looks like they're ghostly hanging around. This is the guy that did Doctor Strange and also did Sinister. What do you think about this trailer?
I am interested in it. It's also Ethan Hawke, who I actually really like too. So I don't really know 100% what to expect because it is, Blumhouse is generally, kind of paranormal things. Is that what it's going to be? Or is it just strictly a murderous kidnapper?
I think you got unless it's in his head. I think there's paranormal stuff with all those kids talking to him. So I think it's going to be a blending of the two. And the director's always done paranormal stuff. So
yeah, so I think it's going to be really good. I'm excited for it. Yeah, I don't. I'm kind of interested to see what exactly is the deal with the Black Phone. Obviously, that's a huge part of it. Says it doesn't work, and then all of a sudden he's getting these calls. The movie's named after it. So I think it's going to be interesting. And yeah, I don't know what else really to say on it more than that. That's like I said, this is the only thing I've seen about it or heard about it.
Tay Field.
I mean, I'm pretty excited for this movie. Like, it's.
You seen this day one?
I will definitely see this day one.
Yeah, I know Kirklin and I are, because Kirklin's very excited for this movie. And I'm happy he wasn't on this cast, because he would have bitched about watching a trailer. Kirklin's the most bitchiest person on GeekVerse when it comes to trailer. Oh, I don't want to see it. And then, he said he gave me so much shit about watching the Dune trailer. I'm like, you're not going to remember any of this. And then when it came to the movie, he didn't remember any of this. It just goes in one eye out the other, But I was glad I didn't have to hear him bitch today. So
yeah, no, it's just
him and his little mouth.
I think this Ethan Hawke just seems to be kind of like on the upswing. Not on the upswing, but just kind of like he's in a lot of things, it seems like, these days.
He is, yeah.
So that's always definitely a plus, but he just seems absolutely terrifying. And just this trailer, like, so
did you see that one critic? They gave that whole, there was like this whole pan down. It's like Ethan Hawke is like blah 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 blah, like all this like big describing words for terrifying.
I didn't see that, no, but
okay.
I saw
Sure
the
you watched
boy
the right
was
trailer?
like, I'm pretty sure I watched the right trailer. There's one released like 11 hours ago.
I hope so.
The kid was like, my name's Taylor, and I was like, oh fuck, this is that's rough. This is a character I can actually like associate with, like, because we have the same name. But hopefully, yeah,
That's
not
the only way
experience-wise.
wow, you fucking alien. That's the only way you can associate with people if they have your name. If they don't, you can't do it. But if they have your name, oh, I understand their journey.
Oh, well, not exactly.
That's what you just said. You
I
said
didn't
you
say
could
I understand
associate
their
with this-
journey.
Well,
I'm
you could
associated with
associate
the character on the screen because they got the same name, but like not because of our same events. I was never put in a basement anything like that with a cordless phone.
So what
But
I
it looks
will
great.
Yeah. No, it does look great. I keep saying this. So I'll say it a few more times because I won't be able to say it after the movie comes out. Scott Derrickson was supposed to do Doctor Strange 2. Him and Marvel had creative differences. I'm always excited to see what a director does after they kind of have a big creative difference from a big studio because I just feel like they just want to go out there and be nuts and do exactly what they want to do. Like, the gloves are kind of off, so I'm excited about that. The only thing that I has a negative for Ethan Hawke, he looked great. My worry, and even then with his voice acting sound great, I almost was just wishing that the mask is scary, but we just didn't have that mask on him so much. Because at the beginning of the trailer, when he's having the facial reactions, it looks like throughout the movie he's going to have different masks or there'll be pieces that come off. But I was like, man, I wish we just... Hopefully there's something to do with the explanation of the mask. Because it's like, well, he sees your face when you kidnap him, so you're not hiding it. So I'm sure we'll have some sort of supernatural or some sort of ritual thing. But the whole time I was watching, like, man, I just wish we could see his face. It's the same way Adam Driver took his mask off for Last Jedi and then put it back for Rise of Skywalker. Like, take it off. I want to see you actually act and stuff. So that was my only con, but I'm excited to see what is the natural, or what is the state of, like, the supernaturalness of this. Is it just the boy and what he's going through? Is everything supernatural world? Like, what Ethan Hawke, is he doing something supernatural, sacrificing kids, rituals? Why is he doing it? Like, I don't know. I love the magician stuff. It all looks good, so I'm really excited for this one. I just think, and I'm excited too because who knows? They're screening it right now at Cinemacon. Maybe tomorrow morning come out with all this movie's fucking shit. But I think if they're screening it like 2 months early, pretty confident in it. And again, not only like I like Doctor Strange enough, but I loved Sinister. So the fact that he's back to doing horror movies, I'm like pure horror movies, that gets me really excited. And I think look out, we might do a Sinister retro before Black Phone because I would love to do that, and I'm excited for Black Phone. So anything else on the Black Phone? All right, Taylor, you get to pick next. Lightyear or Bodies?
Oh, just for fun, let's do Bodies.
I don't know what to say about this trailer. I love A24. It's a slasher, so that's fun. I was a little disappointed in X. I saw that a couple weeks ago with Emily, and that was like a slasher, and I was expecting more. This felt like, and this is where I have some hope, but I just hope it's not just a gimmick. This felt like they were taking a bunch of slang, internet meme terms off of every Reddit forum and putting them in a movie, like, you're gaslighting me, you're so toxic. Now, I don't know if that's the whole gimmick, is we're supposed to dislike some of these characters. I'm not saying that's disliking, but they're making these characters very obnoxious. They're making them like what people meme about when they think like people really left wingers are. Like, that's what these people are. And I like the idea of, because I think, we've played these games many times, like, it feels like it starts of like an Avalon Mafia, like, oh, one of you is the killer and we're going to guess who. Obviously, it progresses into something more. Cast is interesting with Pete Davidson and Lee Pace. Like, it's a weird, like, I'll definitely watch this. I think this one's I don't know if it's gonna be a day one for me because I don't think it's gonna be like a mass review or anything. So this one, when me seeing it's like X, I wanted to see it, didn't have time, so I waited for it was VOD and bought that way. I feel like I'm more leaning this way because I was intrigued by the trailer, but if it wasn't A24, I don't know if I would be so interested. A24 to me is putting out some of the best movies right now. Everyone go see Everywhere All at Once. Taylor, don't fucking go see Morbius or whatnot. Everywhere All at Once is so good. They're just doing so much good stuff right now. So I will see it because of that. But the trailer, I wasn't in love where I have to see this movie. So Jessica, what do you think about this trailer?
I think this movie is going to be super tongue-in-cheek, poking fun at kind of everything. Almost like you said, if a boomer was to write jokes about a millennial, right, or Gen Z,
this is.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if someone dabs in it, right? It's just that completely making fun of current culture. And honestly, I think it's going to be hilarious in, terrible acting, terrible one-liners, like, just super fun to watch. It didn't draw me in enough to say I want to go see this in theaters, but I think it's going to be a really fun ride. The only person I know in it is Pete Davis or Davidson, and that's not for good reasons. So just from him in tabloids and things.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it'll be a fun ride. It's it's currently got an R rating, which makes it gives it a little more fun to play with as far as blood, gore, and language. Yeah.
Taylor Field.
So this is very different from an A24 film. I mean, I feel like the other ones that I've seen are not really along the lines of being memeable in society and reflect what we kind of have today. I just feel like looking at this trailer, it was basically like TikTok the movie, so to speak. And
S-Bub said that the poster says this is not a safe space, which is poking fun at everyone having safe space stickers and things like that, right? So
I guess it shows how unwoke I was, because I don't even know what that means, the safe space thing. I don't even know. I had to look that up. Taylor, do you know what that means?
No, the whole that whole kind of culture, I guess, and kind of like lifestyle that is like the next generation thing, I guess. Not gonna lie, I don't really care for it that much. I got other things I need to worry about. Oh, no, I'm a millennial. I got other things that I'm busy worrying about. And when it comes to like this movie, I will probably watch it for the cast's sake, and maybe I might end up enjoying it. But like, I've never really been into this kind of like super flamboyant kind of TikTok-esque lifestyle. I just feel like that was kind of like represented there. I don't have a TikTok, and the only time I ever watch TikToks are when it literally pops up as like in the meme group or something like that. So
that's from me. Yeah.
A place where a group of people can gather if they have been subjected to ideas that differ from their ideology.
It's the GeekVerse.
It's supposed to be a place intended to be free of bias, conflict, criticism, or potentially threatening actions, ideas, or conversations.
It's Trump's new social media.
On Urban Dictionary, it says these safe spaces often are circle jerks with pointless discussion, have delusional moderator team. Presumably, this allows them to recover from the trauma, free from any lasting damage resulting in the exposure to ideas that conflict with their belief.
So GeekVerse.
It goes up there with like a participation trophy as far as jokes that are made about left.
I see, yeah. And I'm all for that, because I like, there was a couple of years ago, it wasn't like the greatest movie, but there was that movie called The Hunt, where it was a bunch of right-wingers like collected left-wing people and put them in the, or no, it was the other way around. Sorry, left-wingers collected a bunch of right-wingers, put them in a field and went to go kill them because it's like you didn't agree with our beliefs and stuff like that. And if it's done well and has some fun slant, I'm always down for some political humor, everything like that. So Taylor, if you don't like these people, they might get killed off, so you might like that, you know.
Oh, I mean, that made me a bad person. Seeing...
Oh, he saved himself from cancellation right there.
Yeah, you're trying to bait me.
Tell us what you think about Joe Biden, but no. So let's talk about Lightyear. Sleepy Joe won't be making it through this one, I don't know. But it's coming out June. There's been lots of things about this movie. So I feel like there's two reveals. Trailer, I think it was great, more of the same. But there's two things that happened. One, they showed that it's doing a Plan the Apes spin where he goes set on a mission and he goes somewhere and he comes back and it's like 30 years later. And I suppose, I'll ask these two about that, the same thing. And then the other thing that was debated, so when this movie was originally announced, and it's just a fun debate, but it was like, okay, this is about the real Buzz Lightyear. And it's like, okay, this is what they're doing. But now the writers or producers have said, well, actually, this is about just the movie that Andy watched. It's not actually like the real Buzz Lightyear. So it's like this was his Star Wars in that. And lots of people are memeing because they're like, look at this animation they had in 1995 for Andy, like pretty good. But I don't really care about the debate of like, is this the real Buzz or is it a movie about Buzz? I'm just happy they're making like a realistic sci-fi Buzz Lightyear movie. That's cool. And the plot point, it could have been hidden, I agree, but at the same point, I feel like they might do that reveal really early on in the movie. And I can't remember when it was. It was I can't remember the past few years. I think it was a Disney movie or a Marvel movie where they revealed something, and I was like, "Fuck! Like, why did they show that?" And then it was within the first 5-10 minutes they did that. I was like, "Okay, I get that." Like, still, it would have been nice not to know, but I get why they did it because you see it like right away. It happened. So I didn't have a problem. There's not much to unsell me from this trailer. I love Toy Story. I've loved this concept of this. I want a fucking Woody film like this. Like, give me all these things. So, Taylor, what do you feel about, like, do you think this trailer maybe revealed too much for the plot as far as this Plan the Apes, like, comes back and everyone's aged and changed? Like, he was working with the lady's grandma who was his friend and stuff like that. What do you feel about the twist or the reveal of it?
It was exceptionally spoilery.
You're gonna pull a Kirklin here.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull a Kirklin.
Korklin pizza.
This just showed way too much. I like the other two trailers that we had before, like even seeing them like on the big screen in the theater. Like I couldn't put my finger on it. Like, what is the main plot? It just seems like, okay, he's just gonna be leaving this outpost, going into space, gonna encounter Zurg, and all that stuff seems fantastic. That's great. We'll enjoy this ride. And now it's like much more.
Enjoy this ride.
Enjoy this ride. Now it's much more honed in. Where okay, we're getting the whole span of returning years later, and this whole dynamic, and we see so much. Like I wouldn't have expected like this, his friend's descendants to be involved with this. Like now I feel like okay, everything we saw in that trailer was probably like the first 20 minutes of the movie just played there, and I wouldn't have been able to expect that. And maybe like obviously with some Zurg stuff, obviously saved to the end of the movie, but I just feel like
end of the movie. You think they're gonna save Zurg to the end of the movie?
I think maybe like the last back end of the film. I think
no,
Zurg doing some fighting. You don't think so?
I think you'll see Zurg before the halfway point.
Well, I mean like him fighting Buzz and like.
Well, yeah, but you didn't say that. You said see Zurg.
Fair enough. But yeah, I just think I think they kind of ruined a good thing. But I'm holding on to hope like it's gonna be awesome. I didn't realize that this is the movie that Andy watched. I'll be able to associate myself with Andy there.
Well, his name's not Taylor though. You can't do that. You know, like it doesn't work that way. Let's see. Jessica says I could see Paul Rudd. She probably won't be joining us for the end of this because this is the last topic.
She's
but
become
she just had to
one
step
of the
out.
chat.
I did laugh when she just kick me, and it's just a funny weird thing to say. Just kick me, you know. But I got it. But S-Bub says I think Lightyear could have kept the big plot point hidden in the marketing, but I assume that happens early on, so it's not like they spoil a massive twist. I'm the same way, and plus, at the end of the day, majority of the people that are seeing this with kids and everything like that, they don't give a fuck what the plot point is. You know what? They just see Lightyear, and look at this past weekend. It didn't make like huge money, but the fucking bad guys. You know what the bad guys is, Taylor?
The bad guys is?
Yeah. Do you know what the bad guys? The film is the bad guys.
The film is the bad guys, or the bad guys in the film?
No. There's a film called The Bad Guys. Quote The
Oh.
Bad Guys. Quote. Do you know what that is?
No, let's take a look here.
So whatever it is, this is the point. Here's Exhibit A right here. You don't have kids. The movie's based on an Australian children's book. When you have kids, obviously I already like Toy Story. It was on my radar. But when you have kids specifically, you are watching, okay, what are movies I can take them to, what are you can't? For example, we took Gwen to Spider-Man No Way Home. We're going to skip her on Doctor Strange because we'll see how she does. But we're going to take her to Thor Love and Thunder because it's like, that looks like it's going to be a comedic time, stuff like that. That movie, The Bad Guys, was #1 at the box office this past week. You probably didn't know that, right? Beat Sonic, beat Fantastic Beasts. That, yeah, they're in their second weeks, but still was #1. Lightyear, these trailers, I don't even know what. I feel like they could just put one Lightyear trailer out and just play it over and over. They wouldn't need new trailers for Lightyear. Like, they really don't. This is going to make this. I think you put out that one trailer so you can show it movies and get it on people's radar. You could put out one trailer. You could put out 6 trailers, put out 3, whatever the number is. As long as one trailer's out, I think it would make the same amount of money. You know, you could put out TV spots, sure, but people are just gonna go see Lightyear because it's the name and it's Toy Store and everything like that. So that's why I agree they didn't need to show that. Doesn't make sense because the people that are really dissecting it or talking about it is us. But at the same point, I guess they don't care because they know people are gonna see it. You know, it's gonna make lots of money and stuff like that. So
yeah, I mean that's totally true. Like, kids are smart these days. The kids are very, very intelligent. So when you got a movie talking about, oh my God, it's like 60-something years in the future and you're dealing with all this, like, are some kids going to get that? Probably not a fucking chance, but there's going to be some little Jimmies and little Bobbies that are going to be like, I know exactly. I can count to 63 years. I know how many days around the sun that is. And they'll be able to figure this kind of stuff out in the narrative. But it's just maybe it's just a little too in depth. Like they're trying to offer it up on the platter for the adults going to see this. Like, oh, I can finally understand what this movie's about, and it's not just a boring sci-fi animation film. I don't know. It's weird. Everyone's saying children's book series in the chat. Like, how the heck am I supposed to know? If I haven't even heard of this title of the movie, how the hell do I know about the book series? Like, let's be honest here.
I know. I was kind of surprised everyone jumped on that real quick. Like, it's a book series. It's like, that's not going to help them. Like, especially if it's a children's book series. But, yeah. Well, I think that's it because I don't see Jessica sitting back in her chair. So we'll sign off and say thank you for Jessica for joining in, everybody. And yeah, we'll be back. So me and Taylor will be back later on this week. We don't know when. Either for people watching live, it'll be the Wednesday or Thursday because tomorrow Disney has their morning panel. I don't think there's going to be anything huge on there.
You told me there'd be a Rogue Squadrons trailer, so
yeah, I did. Yeah, it's actually them in Avatar. That's what they did. But I don't think there's going to be anything massive we have to break down. But if there is, we will. And if not, they'll just be incorporated in the Thursday newscast. So you'll get one more Thursday cast. You'll be getting a Moon Knight review in a few hours. So anything to say before we sign out of here?
No, just remember to tune into those Halo reviews.
Yeah, the Halo reviews. Of course, you guys are having a good time there. So thank you very much for tuning in, whether you listen, you watch. And I promise you, the next time you hear from us, it'll not be boring.
Bye-bye.